Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family. We chose this one. This is episode 75, Too Fast, Too Furious, Lap 6. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe 2, and this episode's brought to you by Mitsubishi. Time-tested, road-proven. The Mitsubishi Lancer, named after a soldier of the cavalry regiment in Europe's knightly age, debuted on the world stage in 1973.
Shout out Mitsubishi, very appropriate for the Too Fast, Too Furious movie.
Yes.
I gotta say, this is a great episode. We recorded with Nate the other night, and man, Nate Milton joining us later.
He's
This is a great episode. Great
He's just a
episode,
good
if I may
dude.
say so myself.
I agree. He always is fun. Like we've said it. We've talked to some of our fans that were talking to us about Nate. I'm excited for you guys to hear him here. You know, if you didn't go check out Post Wrestling, you didn't go check out Rocky Maivia Picture Show, you'll get him here. And then you can be like, okay, and you'll be sold. You'll go check out that one, too.
But before we get there, you got an hour of just us. So strap in. It's going to be bad before it gets good.
Yeah, true.
Okay, extracurricular activities. Joe, what have you been up to since we... Actually, hold on.
Can we just do ours together? Should we just do one?
Well, we can. I had other stuff going on, so maybe I'll do that too, but we can start ours together. But first, before that,
What?
In case you've been living under a rock, and I don't mean that derogatorily, basically everything in the world is canceled. And so South by is canceled. I'm no longer going to South by.
Yes.
And so how we spent like 3 minutes last week, like, oh, things might be different. Things might be weird.
They're not.
That's all out the window.
Yeah.
So next week's episode is going to be Bloodshot. Go to the
True.
theater if you want to risk going to the theater. Which it's fine.
Risk going to the it's not like a big risk.
Movie studios are expecting a downturn in attendance as older people don't go to the theaters and everything.
True.
But
Fair.
And other movies have been delayed and so on and so forth. But yes, go see Bloodshot sometime before next Tuesday. You have a full week to do it, or just let us spoil it if you don't care about Bloodshot. So the thing that we're going to sort of splice in, we might drop at some other point, but normal schedule, Bloodshot next week, then Fast and Furious after that. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, we fixed our schedule based on the fact that I'm not in Texas for 2 weeks. So
No.
there we go.
Yeah, sadly, I'm sorry, brother.
I know. It's fine. There's worse things in the world than me not being able to go to Texas, but
True.
And also, like it says, like South by might not even be. They might lose so much money this year that they might not be able to put it on next year. I saw one thing about that.
Damn, really? No way.
Their insurance did not cover illness-related cancellations, and so yeah, there's a lot of chaos right now in the world, and so
That's probably just like some kind of plot to get like Live Nation to buy them. Live Nation's pitching this conspiracy to like be able to like purchase South by next year. Coachella and South by are going to be two the same things.
E3 was just canceled today. There's lots of things everything's
Yeah.
getting canceled. But yeah, all right. So extracurricular activities. Do you want to
Okay.
do our shared thing first, or do you want me to do the other thing first? Because the other thing's quicker and smaller and less important.
Do the other quicker, smaller things first, and then we'll just tell our story together.
So last week after we recorded, I went to see Emma and I went to see Onward, two good movies. Not great movies, but I enjoyed both. So if you want to see a Jane Austen adaptation. It's also, Emma is the novel that Clueless is based on. And Clueless is obviously better than this movie.
I didn't know
Clueless
that.
Clueless is perfect, and this movie is not perfect, but Emma is very good, and Onward is very good. Like, people are saying, like, oh, it doesn't have the Pixar spark, and I don't know that it does, but it's good. So they're both good movies. I think that they're both worth seeing. I don't know if you need to rush out. Don't risk your health going to the theaters. That's going to be my new thing. Don't risk your health. But
Yeah.
they're both good. And then on Saturday, I had Mike Manzi and Chris Podcast, both former
That's
guests.
true,
and
yeah.
At least one future guest of the show. I don't know that Chris is ever going to watch another Fast and Furious movie, which is okay.
Who's the future guest?
Mike.
Why?
He'll
You
be
mean
on
Mike,
Fast
a
Time
future
stuff.
recurring guest?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
So they both came over on Saturday. Mike and I did a Viva Pod Vegas about King Creole, which Elvis says is his best movie and his favorite movie. And people think, like, this has 100% of Rotten Tomatoes. Not a very high, it's got like a 6.79 or something like that. But, like, it's a really good movie. The guy who directed Casablanca directed this.
Oh,
It's
cool.
called King Creole.
Wasn't that the name of an album?
Maybe. I mean, it's an album by Elvis.
Oh, fair.
Since we recorded it, Paramount announced that they're putting out this, like, beautiful remastered edition. So that's weird
cool.
timing, cool timing.
Yeah.
And then Chris joined us, and the three of us talked about Color Out of Space, the new Nicolas Cage movie. And Joe, I've got a bombshell. I don't know if you heard about this. I don't know if I told you about this, but
You didn't.
I hate Nicolas Cage in this movie.
Damn, really?
I really like everything
the
about the
character?
movie, and I think
Or
I
just
don't know
him?
that it's the character. I think it's his reliance on like goofy meme stuff that he's already done before, and it feels like he's becoming more of a caricature of himself, and I'm not about it.
He's going full Roman.
I guess, yeah, that's actually a very good way to put it. He goes full Roman, like he's doing voices and stuff, and like making choices, and like it sort of fits in terms of the weird plot of it all. But I'm like, oh, I don't like I like everything else about the movie except for him, and I had to like pause the movie in the middle and be like, wait, am I right in thinking that I just don't like him? And so go check out that
What
episode.
did Mike
'Cause
say?
That's what I was about to say. I was saying, I did the plot summary. I was like, I got a thing to say. I don't like him in this movie at all. Mike's like, I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted right now. And Mike loved
he
the
agree?
movie.
Oh,
No,
no,
he
he
loved
just
the
loved
movie.
it.
Chris was closer to me. Chris didn't mind Cage, but he minded because Chris loves H.P. Lovecraft, or this is a thing that's adapted on one of his writings, and so he thought that he had problems with that. Like he was too close to that element of it.
Okay.
And so he was having issues with the adaptation for that reason, and I was having issues with Cage. So like me and Chris both thought it was flawed. Mike was just like, no, I'm all about this, and he was. I think by the end. Not that we like brought him down a little bit, but I think he could see where we're both coming from.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he still loves it. Yeah, it was. I was like, oh no, this is like a night. This is weird. Like, what happens now?
Yeah, strange.
But then on Sunday, the more important thing, the bigger thing, you and I went up to, or not up to, down to, up to, whatever,
Across
over to
to.
Yonkers, New York.
Yes, we
for
did.
a live podcast taping of both High School Slumber Party and Foodie Films.
Two
Again,
guests
both
we've had.
past and one recurring guest, Brian Rodriguez and Kyle Reinfried, both had their shows. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, I had a blast. So they had it at Yonkers Brewing Company. We all went down, met up there early. It was daylight saving, so it was even earlier. We started boozing early in the morning. Yeah, they started recording. Brian did his High School Slumber Party episode, friends and stuff. So I had a great time. It was always good seeing all those guys. We saw them. Past guest Christian Larson was there. We saw him.
Past guest Rachel.
Past guest Rachel was there. Yes, she was. Yeah, so we had I just had a really good afternoon, actually. It was a really nice Sunday.
Yeah, I co-hosted the entire High School Slumber Party. We brought you. I say we brought you on. I did nothing of any kind of.
Yeah.
Like I basically let Brian steer the ship the entire time, and I just sort of said one thing every 5 or 6 minutes. But we brought you on. We talked about your high school some more. It was cool. And then after that all wrapped, you, me, and Rachel went to a Korean barbecue place.
Jiukaku. It's actually a chain. So this is a place that Rachel found in Montreal is where she found it. Usually before hockey games, we travel for hockey games. We go to a lot of these games and they'll be at 7, right? So you want to kind of get to maybe boozing a little bit before that. So we kind of eat a late lunch usually when we go to these hockey games. One of the places she found was this place, and we ate there and we were like, holy shit, this is really good. We really enjoy this. And when Rachel looked, because she was looking around based on reviews and stuff like that, I think we wanted steak or something is what we were gonna eat, and she was like, oh no, I found this Korean barbecue place. I was like, oh, that sounds fire. Went there, really enjoyed it, and she realized that it's a big chain and they have a bunch all over the US. So the closest one to me is the one in White Plains, which isn't far from Yonkers. As we were driving down, the brewery food looked really good. It did. The options, the menu, she had checked it out beforehand. I was like, but we're close to White Plains. So we don't come down here often. If you want to go to Korean barbecue, we can go to Korean barbecue. Pitched it to you. We went to Korean barbecue. It's all you can eat. Well, you can get all you can eat or orders.
$42 plus tax and tip, and you get all you can eat everything. And there's some fancy
there's
stuff.
Tiers, right? There's a $32 all you can eat. There's a $42 and a $52, and you can get and they all have different things, different grades and beef types and stuff that you can get.
Plus some vegetables, plus some sides, plus some desserts, and it was all really good. It was really, really good.
I love this place, so I'm a big fan. We go there. I just gorging myself on Korean barbecue, which is actually funny because I ate Korean barbecue in California too. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really like it. I just sit there and eat. I think it's a lot of fun. All the sauces and stuff like that. And it's a chill kind of place, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you get your own table, you're cooking, you're if you go there with a friend, it's a lot of fun. I don't mind eating by myself, but I feel that will be a really depressing place to eat by yourself.
Yeah, plus it also feels like more work, you know what I mean? Because you were, I basically didn't grill much. I grilled some of the chicken that I got and whatever, but you and Rachel were kind of taking turns, and you can just sort of kick back and wait for food. You're still in control of everything, but it's also, you don't have to do all the work. If you're just there by yourself, it's you're gorging yourself and you're doing all the work, and you're not sure what you want to order, and it's just, it feels like
you have to
with
share.
more people you can try more stuff, and
Exactly. Yeah. So it worked out well. I'm glad that you liked it. I like going there. I would happily go back there, and if you ever want to come meet us there again, please do.
And then we bookended the night with our first ever
that's
family
right, yeah.
watch party, the watch along.
Yeah, we were
Very
together like
exciting.
all day, digitally and in person.
And we had a pretty good turnout. We had Jenny show
was
up. She was there for the
awesome.
entire time. Justin was there almost the entire time, like after he put his kids to bed at the beginning. Jordan was there. Past guest Jordan was there for
Yes.
the first hour. Our buddy
Jason,
who emails in a bunch, he was there. And then friend of the show, Melissa Lynham, was there. She was lurking in the text chat, and I think listening to us as well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
dude, we have the best fans. It was such a good time. Like, I really enjoyed it. It kind of went off, technically, it went off pretty seamlessly, right? Minus the whole, like, some people couldn't, their phones for a minute or whatever. The stream worked. You said it worked.
It
We
worked
didn't have any problems
flawlessly
that
for
way.
me. And both Jenny and Justin were able to, and Melissa were all able to watch the stream.
Yeah.
Again, there was no sound. We knew that there was going to be no sound. I want to do a little bit more testing and see if we can get sound for next
So
time.
I found a kind of a workaround where, like, you know, you tell your computer that it's outputting to here, and then you kind of use that as your microphone to back into it, and hopefully that works. We're going to try some things out, but now we have a bunch of months. We had everybody join this time. It was fun. So if you want to join next time, it should work better. We should have a better solution.
The most fun thing is that we realized while we were eating dinner, I think, that we were just like, oh, we should do like trailers and stuff before. And so we put together this like 25-minute playlist on YouTube, which I tweeted out. It was a mixture of trailers for upcoming movies, trailers for movies starring the actors of Too Fast, also interstitials like, you know, like previews of coming attractions, like the grindhousey kind of stuff, a Don't Talk PSA from the Draft House. It's a fun little thing. I think that would have been really cool with sound. I think the movie itself is fine without sound because we're talking over it anyway, because we also did the voice chat. But I think the pre-roll would have been a lot of fun if we could hear that, because, you know, I think the trailer experience is so much different. And I think it would have been cool to see that. We kind of curated this playlist really well.
I do too, and this is something that, like, I don't know if this inspired you. Were you like Tarantino inspired by this?
I don't watch trailers, but I love trailers. I feel like there's too many, like they're sort of spoilery. Being able to control what trailers we showed and also kind of tease movies that we're going to talk about soon and watch the trailer for the movie we're talking about this week, Too Fast, and like I think you're able to sort of cut things in and like have fun with it as opposed to just like having to use them to sell a thing. And like the medium, I think, is awesome. It just I don't want to see 25 minutes of trailers for movies that I know that I'm already going to see
or not.
When I go see whatever.
This was inspirational to me because if you've ever seen like a Tarantino re-release, Quentin Tarantino like hand-picks trailers to run before the movie. They're just movies that he likes that like maybe inspired the movie or just a trailer that he thinks is cool, and that's kind of the direction that I took when I was adding them. That it was something more like that as opposed to like, you know, these aren't really meaningful to the movie, but they were like, oh, just watch this. This is cool for 5 minutes, and you're also not telling people, like, you're not selling it like you're saying, right? Like you're not like, oh, you have to go see this. They're not disjointed. There's like a theme and a flow to them. So that's why I like this a lot too.
And the Draft House did that too in Austin. I'm sure they do it everywhere. Like when they have like regular movies, they show like 3 like real trailers, and they show like movies that they're showing. But then for the special occasion things, the things I've talked about before, like Terror Tuesday and Weird Wednesday, they won't show any like real trailers, but they'll show trailers on 35mm from the era. So they'll do like other things or whatever. So like they've done that before. Like Draft House does it too. I never saw the trailer for this movie. I never saw the trailer for Baby Boy, but like you know, now I have kind of sort of without sound. But yeah. But yeah, it was very cool. We'll do it again. I think, well, you know, once a lap or something is cool. We're watching the movies anyway. I find a night that everybody can join. I feel like Sunday night.
And by the way, everybody was just awesome too. It was just like a fun chat. You know, like it was just a great time to just bullshit, and we talked about the movie, we talked about regular life stuff, and it was cool.
Also, as an incentive, sort of, we had Justin play the character quiz game, so we found out what character he was, and we also had Jordan, because Jordan was not on the show since we did the new character quiz, so they both took the character quiz, so that was very exciting. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe how much fun it was, and it was good to hear from Justin and Jenny, and I hope that they enjoyed it as much as I did, but I really did enjoy it, so thank you guys for joining.
I do want to offer one Patreon update in terms of our poll. So we have a Patreon page here at the show, toofast2forever.com or patreon.com/toofast2forever. If you love the show and you want to give us a couple bucks or get some show-related merchandise or swag or whatever, you can do that over there. You can also get voting rights in the movie that we're going to talk about at the end of this lap. So we have the poll up there. And so here's where it stands right now. We have 6 votes in for the 4 movies, okay? 4 different choices. American Graffiti, Death Race 2000, the original, Gone in 60 Seconds, and Vanishing Point, okay?
Yes.
2 of them have 2, and 2 of them have 1. So like this is it really anything
It's
goes.
a good split, yeah.
So Jenny, if you're listening, we need you to cast your vote. Cassie, if you're listening, we need you to cast your vote, and anybody who joins can vote as well and really sway what we're doing. Because I think on Twitter, I think American Graffiti and Death Race tied.
They did. Yeah.
Right now, American Graffiti and Gone in 60, your 2 picks both have 2. My picks both have 1. So we will see where this winds up when all is said and done. But I'm going to leave the poll open. I have it pinned to the top of the Patreon page right now. So if you're new to the Patreon, you can go over there, find it very easily, cast your vote, and help us pick what we're gonna watch.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see what gets picked, and I'm glad that I'm in the lead. So thank you. Perfect.
Yes. The mailbag. So we have an email address here on the show, family@cageclub.me. Joe, we have 3 emails tonight.
Okay.
First up, from new listener. She wrote in a couple weeks ago, Haley Gerbies. Hello, Haley
hey,
again.
Haley.
Subject line, Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi.
Nice.
Hey, Juanao. No, wait, hold on. Farno? I don't know. Hey, it's the same word as last time, Whanau. She says, in parentheses, phonetically, Farno. So maybe Farno?
Farno?
Guess. It doesn't look anything like it. But
I hope that she's trying to get you to say a really stupid word like "I'm an idiot" in a different language, and you just did it because you pronounce it Farno. And all of her friends
that
are
also
laughing
reminds
at you.
me, what you're saying here, we also have the most annoying thing in the world bracket still going. So if you want to vote on that, cageclub.me.
How did I remind you of that?
I have no idea. It just inspired me. Haley says, sorry for the late email. Been a crazy few weeks, but it is cool to know we have another Aussie listener. Hashtag West Coast Eagles.
Ooh, okay.
She says, I must say I was so proud of your pronunciation of my last name the other week. It would be one of the few times it was said correctly the first time. Let's see if the phonetically written Farno is any better. Haha. Which, maybe, if it's Farno, sure. If it's not Farno, I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I do find listening to you guys at work is a lot more interesting than my coworkers' dribble, and it helps pass the time or keep me smiling when customers are being difficult. I have headphones on, so it's only me listening, which makes You Are My Lifespan a little less awkward.
Fair. That would if it was on speaker. I don't know what kind of job you would have that you could listen to You Are My Lifespan on speaker. Imagine if like some stripper like that was like her walk-up song. It's just You Are My Life, like us reading You Are My Lifespan.
I want like a club, like a house remix. Like an EDM remix of You Are My Lifespan.
Of the song by Vaults or us reading it?
No, of us reading. Like maybe us reading mixed with the song.
I like that. That made me really happy on the inside. Like
yeah.
That rubbed me the right way. Thank you.
She says, I also find because I listen to these while doing other things that when I listen the second time around, I pick up things I missed the first time. I just heard Joe, for instance, say that he does not like Christmas or Christmas songs. I think my heart just broke a little. Frowny face.
I'm very sorry, but I'm the biggest Grinch in the world. Everybody knows it. I hate a lot of holidays. I hate Christmas. I hate Halloween, Valentine's Day. The ones that I do like are Thanksgiving and the day after Valentine's Day.
Half-price candy day.
Half-price candy day. And the day after Halloween, for that matter, too.
So you like holidays where you eat a lot?
I like holidays that revolve around food and family and no presents or costumes. That's like the general standard. Except birthdays. Fuck, I love birthdays and birthday presents and stuff like that. So much fun.
Okay.
But like Christmas, not a fan.
Haley says it's also interesting listening to your ideas from the first couple of laps on what F9 will be and where it is going. I don't remember those ideas.
Neither do I.
I mean, they were probably wrong because I don't think we ever said Dom's brother. We don't think we ever said Han is back. Like,
no. We definitely at some point said like Dom has to like face himself or maybe his brother. I remember saying that. Like there has to be like an alternate Dom, Bizarro Dom or something.
You did say Bizarro Dom. I remember that.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way, Jacob is Bizarro Dom.
He is. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
She says Channing Tatum is far too good looking for the Sean role. He doesn't have the boy next door look to him that I think the role needs, but I will agree to disagree.
Okay, so she wants somebody more homely to play Sean so that he's not distracting to the viewer.
By the way, I think Jenna Dewan just had a baby, so shout out Jenna Dewan, shout out Magic Mike's.
Oh, well, he's probably going to rage quit Twitter or Instagram again.
Haley says, that's all for today. Till next time, stay fast, stay furious, mi familia. Haley XO.
Well, thank you for writing in, Haley, and I'm glad that you still enjoy us. I appreciate the email, and you made me laugh.
Next email from Mr. Wes Hampton, subject line 2-lane blacktop, what up fam?
What up, Wes?
Great pit stop as usual. Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch the movie before I listened to the episode, but we still really want to see it. Just like Han's trek to Tokyo, we'll get there, eventually.
Eventually. I think it's a movie that I don't think we really could have spoiled. Even if you listen to it, like the movie's more based on like the emotion that it gives you or the ride that you experience watching it. What do you think?
I don't think you can spoil that movie. I think that it's
No.
really
You
just
have to
watch it and
experience
enjoy
it.
Some podcast that follows us on Instagram commented on our picture and said it's the best road movie of all time, the best on the road movie of all time.
That
And so I
could
think
be true.
it's one
You
that
can
I
argue
don't
it.
know that a lot of people have seen. I think a lot of people who know car movies or know movies have heard of. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we saw it, but I think that it's out there. Like people who know it are like, oh, this is like a something special of a movie.
Yeah, it is. It was fun. Like I said, I really enjoyed it when if you listened to the episode, which you did.
Yeah. Wes says that he was doing reading on that Fast and Furious marathon for the car dealership, and he says he's not sure that you have to watch it in person there. It seems like it's going to be just watch all 9 movies in a short amount of time and fill out some worksheets. So he might be able to do it from down there. That would be super
Good.
weird. He said it's all about the social media posting to Facebook and Twitter, so anybody can sign up. So I guess it's weird. That's a weird promotion. Like, hey, we're running this. We're going to give you $900, but you don't have to be here. Like, okay.
They're essentially like Mike Bloomberging your tweets for their dealership.
So they're going to spend $600 million and then drop out?
Yeah, I hope. If they want to give us $600 million, I am so ready for it.
Wes says, you mentioned something I've heard a few people bring up about race wars. Is it unsanctioned? I always was under the impression it was an official sanctioned race event because of the security and the fact it was clearly more organized than the normal
Ooh.
races. The only thing I'll say is they're obviously not required to wear helmets or other safety equipment, but I figure that was more style choice for the movie than anything else. I mean, who hired these people to work the gates and paint numbers on the cars? Who bought clipboards? This is not the mark of an underground event. They don't even have girls in short skirts waving the starting flag. It's a middle-aged guy in shorts. I think it's an officially sanctioned event, which is why Hector's trying to make his name there. But, like, sanctioned by who?
I disagree. I've been to many events that have been like half legit, right?
I will also
Like-
say that if we had an event, I would have a clipboard.
So that's what I'm saying. You can hire security for random events. I've been to concerts, very small underground music festivals where there has been security and bartenders and things like that. It's definitely not an official event. You pay cash, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, they have some of the things that you would need to just prevent things from happening. I think that there's probably like an entry fee that you pay to go to race wars, and things like Burning Man started early without like tickets and stuff like that, right? It would just be like people showing up. This is also in the middle of the desert. I think it's a la Burning Man. Maybe later, by 7, becomes a real event that you might have to buy tickets for. But at this time, I think it's just like one of these guys, maybe Dom, maybe Hector, somebody above, like somebody that's more behind the chair, somebody like you would have probably taken the reins and been like, okay, look, we need security. We need to have like an entry fee. We're going to have like this tent. We'll have a medical staff. And it would just be like ran by them, but unsanctioned.
And I think it's the kind of thing that as time goes on, you learn from your own mistakes. And maybe they didn't have security. Maybe they didn't have a tent. Maybe they didn't have this or that or whatever, right? And like they mess up.
But
one year,
Race
then
Wars is
later the next year.
established.
Yeah, exactly.
So they speak of it like everybody knows about it and it's happened before. I can see that an event naturally evolves to like include the things that you would need. So, yeah.
Because also when they go back to it in 7 and he's then, Dom says to Letty, we built this. It's like maybe it was sponsored or something by something eventually, but like they made it. And so I think it's their thing. It doesn't feel like they're the kind to corporately sell out, right? Like it feels like this is going to be their thing that they run for fun for their friends for whatever reason, right? So,
like everybody knows like they might have started the first one and now it's like an event hosted by like whatever guys, Hector, and he like takes control of it. But at the same time, it's still like a homebrew event.
Yeah. Speaking of Hector, says Wes, I love your enthusiasm for the conspiracy, but he's a total red herring just like Johnny Tran. No one's involved in Dom's heist but Dom's crew. He might like Hector, but they're not that close.
I disagree, and I have something to say about this during the minute this time.
Okay, we'll get to there.
Yeah, I have a new thought.
Which also, we have some clarity on what's going on with Harry. Wes says, which brings me to my next point. I don't think Dom passed race wars onto Hector. I think he was just there. Dom left, Johnny died, Letty quote-unquote died.
Yeah.
Edwin, well, who knows? But the point is Hector was the only one left, so he's the big man on campus. When Dom says they invented race wars to Letty in 7, I took that to be metaphorical. I don't know the way. Okay.
I don't know.
Like they were the biggest names in the scene and built it to a point where this event was the next natural evolution. If it wasn't for them and the popularity they brought, it wouldn't exist. But I don't see Dom in the event planning industry. But who knows? He's a
I don't
man of
either.
many talents. But I also think it could just be that like they were doing like, oh, these street races. Like let's go out in the desert, right? And like, let's go do something where the cops aren't, and then they have more people show up, and they're like, well, while we're out here, we might as well like have. I feel like it can happen like that, right? It doesn't
It can
have to be.
evolve. It can be a natural,
Yeah,
organic evolution. Yes. So maybe Dom was the first one to be like, you know what? Like this weekend, we're just gonna go race in the desert, and he started the first race wars. But then the next time, this guy was like, dude, like you want me to plan it next time, and like I'll get everybody to come. And Dom's like, sure, like I'll be there. You know.
and that man was Twinkie. And then Wes says, it's funny to me that you guys didn't really know James Taylor because he's so prevalent in my life. He's a massively successful folk, pop, rock singer-songwriter who started in the late 60s. He's kind of the epitome of old white people music, but low-key one of my favorites. I don't bring him up a lot or even listen to that much, but his music was around so much when I was growing up that every time I hear him somewhere, I have to take a minute and listen. Even Mrs. West knows every time I ask her, hey, do you know who this is? If it sounds kind of folksy, it's almost always James Taylor. Saw him in concert a few years ago in the 60s, and he's great. Kind of wish I could see him in his era, though. He's one of those artists that you probably have heard and just don't realize. Anyway, from a very southern Texas family, so maybe it speaks to my heritage. Also, Dennis Wilson was the Beach Boys member that was friends with Charles Manson. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when Manson shows up to Sharon Tate's house, he's looking for Dennis Wilson.
I didn't know that. That's really fucking cool. Wow, that throws a whole big wrench in that whole thing, huh? That blew my mind a little bit. Damn, good connection, Wes. Thanks.
Makes the movie a little bit darker, sort of.
It does. No, that's very strange. And I mean, we just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, you know, I think I would have. I don't know if they mention his name in that or not, but still interesting.
I think they probably do, but they might also just say, like, Dennis. You know, I don't know.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah.
Weird. Okay.
And then Wes says, that's all I've got for this week. Sorry I couldn't join in the live stream, but it sounds like it went well. And since South by canceled just days after you recorded, you shouldn't have any problems editing it and getting the Too Fast episode posted. Until next time, stay furious. Well, indeed.
You're right.
It is going up right on time.
Yeah, very true.
And then, Joe, our third and final email, once again from another new listener, Jerry Robinson, emailed in a week or two ago. Subject line, I finally caught up, which felt like, remember, he emailed
Holy
after
fuck!
listening to
No,
lap
he said
one.
he was at. Yeah. How?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Did he just like listen to nothing but Too Fast for like a week and a half?
Hey, fellas, last time I said I finished lap one, and I listened to you guys every day in and out of work, in the shower, and I eventually got to the most recent episode when you guys shout me out. I was literally having a Roman moment. I saw that spider in Too Fast, so thank you so much. And I cut you off because, like, he's like, yeah, I basically just didn't stop listening to you until I caught up.
Damn. Yeah. Holy shit. Well, welcome.
He says, I'm following you guys on Facebook and Instagram. Well, thank you so much. Facebook.com/TooFast2Forever and at TooFast2Forever on Twitter and Instagram. He says he'd love to be a guest and explain his thoughts on all the movies. He said he saw all 8 main movies numerous times. I don't count Hobbs and Shaw, he says. #Justice for Han.
True.
In my opinion, here's who needs a spin-off before those two. So number one, Tej. After Too Fast
Tej.
and Fast 5, show how the hell he got all those skills.
Oh, like an in-between movie, like we were trying to say about like the Jesse prequel. We get like a movie between 2 and 5. I like that. That'd be cool.
What I just assume is Wes's theory or Wes's vocabulary of automancer, right? Like just like, he's just near cars, he just powers up that way, because they all kind of power up that way, right?
Yeah. But it would be fun to see like the in between though. You know what I mean? Like to see him be like, oh, what's this computer do? And like become a hacker and yeah.
Number 2, Letty, how Owen Shaw fully got her leading into 6, which I think would be cool. Especially that would give more screen time to Owen too.
It would, and I think that would be a really good short movie, like kind of in the sense of like Los Bandoleros. Yeah, like we need like a good like 20-minute that comes out as like an extra feature on one of the DVDs or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
I just looked up on my TV and I'm seeing a movie with The Rock in it.
Ooh.
I don't know why. I just see like a very young. Oh, it's Walking Tall. Sorry.
For all we know, and I don't think it does because we probably would have heard about it by now, but like there might be special features or scenes that like explain some of these kind of things, right? Because eventually, I think in next lap, next lap we're going to, not giving away the theme, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into sort of deleted scenes and stuff like that. So this kind of stuff might be out there. I don't know, but I also do want to say I watched the Craig Lieberman video this week on the turbocharged Prelude, and he didn't have a ton to say about it because he was basically like, the shoot was short and, there wasn't a lot of money, which I think we gathered because there's basically no dialogue. What was interesting about it was that he was saying that they included a free ticket to Too Fast in it. Like they basically they reran the DVD. It was like the tricked out edition or something, and it included the turbocharged Prelude. And so they sold it. I think basically the movie came out on a Friday, and that Tuesday they released this DVD to stores. But in the DVD was a ticket to Too Fast. So like if you knew you were going to go to Too Fast, or if you're interested in Too Fast, you go out, you buy this DVD for, $15 or whatever, and you get the $8 or $9 or $10 ticket or whatever in there. So I think that's a smart move. But
It was
the
a
reason
really
I bring
good
that
play,
up
yeah.
is because there might be things like what Jerry's looking for, that what we've talked about, that we can get to next lap. Like if there are deleted scenes or special videos or whatever, there might be more stuff out there that we just don't know about. You know what I mean?
And there might be like special wacky edition DVDs. Haley just told us about the special edition DVD that they get in Australia about what that has them in order. So I don't know. There could be lots of things that we're missing.
Jerry's third one, number 3, Han. I like how you guys said in earlier episodes how many times he went to Japan. Yeah, like the whole Han and Giselle trilogy would be, that's kind of our number 1, I think, probably.
Yeah, I think so. That's top tier. I agree.
He says a short story with Dom, Mia, Vince, Jesse, and Leon. He says, where the fuck is he, by the way, on how they got their cars that they use in the first movie.
Like a prequel. I like that. And yeah, Leon's just gone.
Yeah.
So my theory on Leon, Dom knows Leon, right? But like when Mia's talking about them and how they know the crew, Leon kind of showed up a little bit later. He might have been like actually kind of a criminal and could have just like
okay.
drifted off into the night. Because remember when she says like, how does Dom know all these guys? She's like, Vince, knew him since the 3rd grade. Letty
grew up down the street or whatever.
And she's like, Leon just showed up one day and kind of never left. We haven't got to that part in the minute yet, and I can't look back. So
there's no looking back. I also think it'd be really funny if they did like a prequel now. Like I don't know that they could, but like now that they're
They'd
20
be like
years
40.
later and they all look so wildly different. Like they're all. Dom is like a skinny, like Vin is like a skinny, normal guy in the first movie, and now he's like action star, ripped, buff. You know what I mean? Just
huge. I mean,
so
he's big in the first
playing
one.
That same or younger version of himself.
I agree. Yeah.
And I don't know that you could do it like when Wet Hot American Summer did their prequel series, and they like made jokes. Because in the movie they were talking about how like they're all way too old to be the characters they're playing, and now they're like 10 years later they were playing whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's all just
like the same age, like the next day or whatever.
So I don't know that you could do that because it's not really a comedy in that way. But yeah, it would be funny to see. I would like to see that story. Maybe you have other actors like around the age of like 20 or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
He says, sorry if my email's too long. It's not, but I love the podcast and I'm fanboying right now with all these theories you have. I said I owe you a 10-second car, and here it is, if Joe can guess. Have an awesome day, guys, Jerry. So we have a third picture now. So we got one from Rachel, we've got one from Melissa, and we've got one from Jerry. So the next 3 episodes, not this one, because as you'll hear on this episode, I pull rank and I do one of my own.
Yes.
We got 3 more in the chamber. So we're going to get to those over movies 4, 5, and 6 before we head back to Tokyo Drift for 3. So
sounds perfect. I'm excited for it.
And that was all the emails, so thank you all for writing in. If you want to email in family@cageclub.me, we will read it next episode on our Bloodshot episode.
Ooh.
Very cool, very exciting.
Thank you for writing in, Jerry. I appreciate the email. Thank you, buddy.
On the streets, is there any new Fast and Furious news since last week? I don't know that I've seen anything.
So. I don't think so.
And we had another couple states vote in primaries. Still, as far as I can tell, Dwayne Johnson not
Nobody's
running
voting
for
The Rock.
But let me search Dwayne Johnson president on Google News. Dwayne Johnson celebrates his 3 daughters with touching posts for International Women's Day. That's not at all related to the president, but that's in there. And The Rock president rock out with the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library and Museum. Once again, not The Rock running for president, so maybe one day.
No.
Not right now.
At this point, I might even vote for The Rock in the primaries, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I might write him in.
Who knows?
Yeah. Anything could happen.
All right, Joe, the last thing we have to do is the Fast and Furious minute 38. A minute I called, and I don't know, we can always change this.
You nailed it.
You want time, buy the magazine.
See, Lab says the skid marks came back the same. Mashimoto ZX tires, so we know that it's somebody in the street racing world.
We don't make this case soon, the truckers will take matters into their own hands. I tell them we're close. You gonna make me a liar?
Look, what do we know? We all know this world revolves around Toretto, right? I'm not saying that he's necessarily the one that's popping these trucks, but I can guarantee the both of you that he knows who is. It's just a matter of time until I win his
You want time? Buy the magazine. We don't have time. Just get me something I can use.
Is Harry cooperating?
Yeah, like a guy that's gonna do 3 to 5 for receiving stolen property if he doesn't.
What kind of vibe is he getting from Toretto?
He's scared to death of him, but he doesn't think he's jacking trucks in his spare time either. He's too controlled for that.
Wait. Not that I want to contradict Harry's fine judge of character, but Toretto did hard time for nearly beating a guy to death.
All right, so in this minute, we have Tanner, Bilkins, and Brian finishing their conversation about Dom. Things feel urgent, and then Tanner and Brian leave Bilkins' office and the house to continue their conversation.
Yes, and we see them walk over the pool bridge.
Once again,
which I think is very interesting. This was a really hard minute for me.
There's not a lot to look at in this minute.
No, it's more talking, things happening, dialogue. They're kind of moving the story along. There's nothing for me to pick out. You said, oh, Bilkins has a watch on.
Yeah, I wanted to see if you could find the watch, and you couldn't find the watch because
Couldn't find the watch.
I don't know that
dug
anybody's
deep.
really looking to look like Bilkins in this movie. No offense to Bilkins.
I agree, though. What else did I look at? The chalkboard I can't read. There's a chalkboard in the background. I saw some more boxes. Also can't read them because they're focusing on faces. I don't know what to tell you, bud. I'm sorry.
That's a bummer. That's a big bummer. Not your fault.
I
but
dug.
just-
I watched it a bunch
know.
of times. I tried to get a bunch of stuff. I really did. I couldn't.
So two notable moments, then we will get to your theory, and I think there is an explanation here of the conversation we had with Mike a while back. But we learned that Harry is cooperating to avoid jail time for receiving stolen property. We were wondering, like, is he under the long arm of the law? And it seems like, yeah, like they have him dead to rights, and they're like, hey,
Yeah, we've
help
talked
us.
about this.
Not necessarily snitch to us, but cooperate with us. Like, let us place one of our men in your store and keep your mouth shut about it, and you won't go to prison.
So I have a theory about this, and this will tie into our Hector theory, okay?
Okay.
So we were debating back and forth whether or not Hector's buying the parts for Dom and why he would need to do this. Why couldn't Dom just buy his own parts? Whatever. This is the cornerstone to my theory now.
The fact that Harry is basically working for the cops.
Yes, Dom knows the truck drivers, right? He has a guy on the payroll there.
The guy with the first line in the movie, right? The guy who says
The
Rogers on the side of the truck.
yeah, Rogers on the side of the truck. I would believe that Dom has some kind of intel, or he would know somehow that Harry was working for the cops or selling stolen parts and now not selling stolen parts, right? Because who would know better than Dom buying the stolen parts, Dom selling him the stolen parts, whatever. Maybe Harry's involved in the selling of the DVD players. We don't know. If anybody knew that Harry was crooked and now working with the cops, it would be Dom, which would make perfect sense why Dom would send Hector in to buy the parts for his car so that Harry wouldn't start reporting that Dom was buying the parts.
So it's just an extra layer of security on Dom's behalf.
Yes, because he now knows that Harry's maybe the only place that carries the parts. This isn't like internet times, right? I mean, like we get like Jesse overnight parts from Japan or whatever, but like they're still buying parts from the parts store. Harry knows that Dom buys the parts and everything that Dom buys is gold, and the kids come in here, they buy everything that he has. So this is just a layer of security because he knows now, or he can assume he smells something up, and Harry's working with the cops, so he's like, he doesn't want Harry to know what he's doing.
I like that. That's smart. I think
Do you like that?
I was more on your side, I think, or we had the same side or whatever. And then Wes wrote in basically saying that he thought, that he and Hector weren't
There's
friends.
the six civics. The six
Yeah.
civic theory. Yes.
It doesn't feel like, it feels like, yes, he's supposed to be a red herring, but I think that it still doesn't make sense within the world of the movie, right?
Yeah.
And that makes sense that, like, Dom, whether he knows
wise.
explicitly or just suspects that
Yeah.
Harry is maybe crooked or was crooked and now is less whatever, however you want to say it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it makes a little bit more sense like that. And Brian's kind of trustworthy, and maybe he's befriending Brian because he wants an in at the parts store that would surmount, kind of go around Harry. He could
Yeah.
be his new parts guy. Because if Brian's ordering stuff from Harry, Harry doesn't really see who's getting it or what's happening.
And the other thing that also kind of plays into this, maybe not into the theory, but into the idea of Harry, Brian says that Harry doesn't think Dom is jacking trucks. So we learn that Harry is not necessarily a good judge of character or very smart.
Yes, and if he saw Dom buying 3 sets of parts for everything, he would be like, why is he buying these parts? He would start questioning things, right?
So Brian wants to believe that Dom is innocent. Harry actually believes that Dom is innocent.
Yes.
Dom is not innocent. And
No.
whether that's because that he's manipulative or just persuasive or charismatic, all these things that he's doing to chase people off his trail, like the fact that he has Hector buying parts, it's working to a certain extent, right? Because
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him letting his guard down to let the love of his life, Brian O'Connor, into his life, he probably would have gotten away with it forever.
Or he would have gotten killed by one of the truck drivers.
I guess that's at the end here. Vince probably would have died, and then maybe he
Yeah.
would have stopped jacking trucks.
Yeah, and there would have been a murder. We would have found out that Vince was involved. He probably would have got caught anyways. Vince wouldn't have been alive for another movie.
I think, and we're going to get to the minute again much later in the movie, but it feels like this might also be, at least for now, kind of their one last job too, right? Like it feels like, I think it's either Mia or Letty, one of them is like, we don't need to do more jobs, I think.
Yeah, one of them says, I thought you were quitting. Dom's like, we just need one more job. This is our one last job. That's like the whole argument that he and Mia have near the end. Yeah. And Letty's like, we don't need to do this anymore. And he's like, after this one, this is the big one. We'll stop.
Yeah. In spite of the fact that this minute did not have a lot of not a lot of things that we could talk about. I think that the information we get about Harry, specifically what he knows and what he doesn't know and how he's involved, informs some theories. So I think this is a important minute in that regard.
No, this is a very important minute because we've talked about this before. Why is Harry kind of involved with Brian and things like that? I'm glad we finally get to break this down. We've talked about, like, we didn't really know what he was doing. He confirms here that he was receiving stolen property, which is weird. See, now this plays weird too, because, like, if he was receiving stolen property, maybe he's the one who's, like, offloading the stuff for Dom, and he's trying to throw a wrench in it.
Like, we see how frazzled Harry is all the time, right? Like, I feel like if Harry is actually actively dealing with Dom, I don't think that he's the kind of guy who could, like, get the cops off his scent. Unless Brian is lying to Bilkins and Tanner, like, oh yeah, Harry doesn't think so either. Like, as more evidence that, like, Dom's not the guy. I'm telling you, Dom's not the guy. By the way, Harry doesn't think he's the guy either. And then that's when Tanner's like, Harry's not a good, like, Harry's a criminal. Like, who,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the other thing too, right? Like, maybe Harry's in it. Maybe they're both like, yeah, like, we know it's Dom. Like, also, by the way, don't look in that closet because it's full of DVD players or whatever, right? But
yeah, but you know what? Harry would have just gave up Dom, not just, like, worked with the cops and, like, tried to, like, throw them off his scent forever, right? You'd have been like, okay, like, either, like, you go to jail or it's Dom. Those
yeah,
are
it
the
would
two
be
options.
weird to have, like, the backbone to not snitch, but not have the backbone to not cooperate, right? It's like, I'm not giving up names, but you can plant a guy in my store. Like, that feels like a weird middle ground that doesn't make any sense. So
Yes, agreed.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
These guys, they don't have time. They're running out of time. But Dom, he's got nothing but time. So Dom and Bilkins are basically polar opposites.
True, they are. They're on two different sides of the law.
All
That's how
right.
it
So
works.
the question, and I think you like the question because you
added
the missing answer.
Okay, yes. So I really like your question.
What brand or type of tires left skid marks at the scene of the heist? And I'm going to simplify yours a little bit, or do you want to keep that in?
No, you have to keep it exactly as it is.
Is this from My Cousin Vinny?
It absolutely is. I was just watching My Cousin Vinny recently, and that's the model of the tires in My Cousin Vinny. That's why I wanted to put that in there.
The car that made these two equal-length tire marks had positive traction. You can't make those marks without positive traction.
The four that I have here, the Gallo 24Rs. I mean, what tires are better than the Gallo 24s?
The Gallo 24s are what would be better for my Skyline. Yeah.
I don't know. Pizza Place has made tires too. Whew. Savage burn.
And if you get that wrong, you're such a buster. The quiz should just stop and just be like, Buster.
The right answer is the Mashimoto ZX tires. Then you put in the Michelin Model XGV tire size 75 R14. And then when I Googled Mashimoto ZX to make sure it was spelled right, somebody was like, should I get these or should I get the Pirelli P0? So I was like, if somebody's debating between these two, sure, why not? That's probably similar enough.
Pirelli P0s are cool, yeah.
Joe, any other thoughts on the minute before we take a break and bring in Mr. Nate Milton?
No, that was a really good breakdown of Harry, and I'm glad that we covered that in this minute, because that's all that there was for
there is, as I was editing the back half this morning, there's a thing that Nate says later about how the action sometimes weighs things down, and he likes to because, and you'll hear all this, but he likes to because, you get some character development. I feel like that's what we say, and I feel like that's also what the beauty of the minute is that, like, the action is fine, but, like, what we really like is the character development in these things. And when you're watching the movie, you don't really care about Harry. You don't really care about Hector. Like, you care about Hector insofar as that, like, they want you to think that he's the bad guy. But I also think that, like, going line by line, going minute by minute, watching it 10 or 11 times or whatever, and really getting a sense of how this world is built, and whether or not there's actual explanations for these things, whether or not there's logic behind all this. Like, you can see how they want the pieces to be connected. And I feel like going minute by minute, going to what Nate's going to say in a little bit, I think it's nice to be able to dive deep on these characters that no one in their right mind should put this much thought towards. Like, no one should care this much about Harry. No one should care this much about the Racer's Edge. No one should care about, like, who Hector's actually buying parts for. But why not? If not us, who?
I would love to get Hector to be a guest on our show and be like, Hector, were you supposed to be buying the parts for Dom? Why were you buying the parts for Dom? Because do you think they had to, like, suss that out to him as a character? Or do you think they're just, like, deliver these lines?
I would guess that's probably up to the actor. I think it could be like, if you're curious into your backstory, I think you could be like, well, why am I doing this? Or how does this get involved? Or whatever. Or some people
just like any job, I guess. Yeah.
Some people would just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to say the lines, whatever. Because, like, he knows that he's not the star of this movie. He knows that it's, to a certain extent, he's the red herring. If he's like, hey, so why am I doing this? How am I actually involved? How do I know Dom? How should I play this? Then he has, conversations with Rob Cohen, who with the people who wrote the screenplay, maybe with Vin Diesel, and just like, okay, here's where my character stands. But they might not know, he might not know, or they also might just be like, well, how would you play? Like, how do you think you fit in? And they might go from there, So,
Yep.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll be right back to talk about Too Fast, Too Furious with Nate Milton.
Welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever. This is episode number 75, Too Fast, Too Furious. This episode is brought to you by Mitsubishi, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. The first Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution was launched in 1992, rally bred from its inception. To make it ultra-competitive, Mitsubishi took the lightweight Lancer, reduced its weight even further, increased body and suspension rigidity, and powered it with a 4G63 type intercooler turbo engine, delivering torque through a 4-wheel drive system. Mitsubishi.
In theory, they're not really kicking it old school, as we talked about in the beginning, because they're not. But you were just saying that there's not a lot of new Mitsubishi, so like these throwbacks are kind of kicking it old school in a way, right?
I didn't know. I haven't been paying really attention, but did you know that they stopped making the Evo and the Eclipse?
Truly
So,
a shame.
The two cars from this movie, they don't make them anymore.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Man. Let us tarry, dilly-dally, whatever, no further. Let us bring in the man of the hour. You know him from this show. You know him from the Fast 5 portion of The Night Before the Fast and the Furious.
Ooh. But
he also has 2 podcasts, at least of his own. He's got The Kings of Sport. He's also got a show that you and I have been on, Joe. He's got the Rocky Maivia Picture Show
that we've been talking about forever, yeah.
Part of Post Wrestling. We got some great feedback from our listeners on our episode. We welcome to the show, please, Mr. Nate Milton. Hello, Nate.
Yo, Joes, what is going on, my brothers? This in the wrestling business, this is what they call, getting your heat back, because you came on the Rocky Maivia Picture Show, and I put you boys over. Now I'm on your show. I'm in your backyard, and you're doing me the solid. So I appreciate the reciprocity.
Oh, I love it.
I'm glad you're here, man. Yeah.
I do have to say, like Joey, I don't want this episode to start off on a contentious note, but I do have a bone to pick with Brother Joe.
With me or with Joe too?
With Joe too, because
what happened?
We engaged in a business deal. Don't act like you don't know Joe too. We engaged in a business deal before the program began, and I bought some let's just say medicinal meditation aids from Joe too. He told me it was sticky, and once I looked at the bag, man, this ain't sticky. That's sticks and stems. Now I have to act a fool, dear listeners. I have to act a fool because I got sticks and stems in my bag now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nate, what you gonna do?
I'm gonna act a fool, Joe.
Oh, man, you got me. I was like, "What the hell is he talking?"
Man, you can't cross
Dirtweed.
him. All right.
There were so many things I could have came in with just based off of the greatness of this movie. Like I was like, do I go Ludacris? Do I go Joe Budden, who was ubiquitous in this film?
Oh my God, I know. They played. How many times did we hear "Pump It Up" in this movie?
At least 3.
At least 3 full time. Yeah, it was an interesting
minimum
soundtrack choice. Yeah.
Before we talk about all the Joe Budden of this movie, I want to establish some credentials here. So now, Mr. Nate, when you signed up, when we were finding people for this lap, we were like, what movies do you want to do? And your boy, The Rock, has been in 4 of these movies, right? He was 5 of these movies now, right?
Yeah,
and
5.
We were like, oh, we got so many movies from Dwayne Johnson, we got Rocky, and so many of these movies. Nate's going to join us for one of those, and he's like, number 1 choice with the bullet, Too Fast. We're like, okay.
Down.
And so here you are.
Not a lot of people love this movie the way we love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, because I knew like a lot of people are going to choose the later movies that feature The Rock, because to me, that's where the series really kind of takes off into a whole new level. And I've heard you guys talk about not only this film, but also Tokyo Drift and how they don't really get the credit that they deserve. And so like for me, I had to come and talk about Too Fast, Too Furious, because to me, like I like the first one. Like I've seen them all. And I like the first one, but I really, really like Too Fast, and I think a lot of people don't. And I think the reasons I probably like it are a lot of the reasons why the mainstream audience didn't really take to it.
Okay. Well, we will
Okay.
get into that in a little bit. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. Now, you just mentioned, very important point. You've seen them all. Do you have rankings? Can you rank your favorites from favorite to least favorite?
I have.
Okay.
I know the show. I know the format. I've done
Wonderful,
my homework.
wonderful.
Ooh. Little Birdman hand rub there if you didn't hear it.
Yeah, so
That's what that was.
feel free to work your way from the bottom up or top down, whatever feels more comfortable.
Let's go top down because
Okay.
I think like
Okay.
the three of us talked and I think we have probably a consensus.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I'm going to start at number 1. It's the movie we talked about on Rocky Maivia Picture Show, Fast 5.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah, that's top
Fast
tier.
5 is just great, amazing. Number 2, Furious 7.
Okay.
Oh, you like 7? Okay, cool.
I had a
Yeah.
real tough choice between 7 and 6, but I think like the real life emotion of the Paul Walker stuff just gets me every time.
Okay.
It does, yeah. It tears us up, man. Rachel cries at the end of it every time.
And it's like
man.
I know it's coming,
Yep.
but I'm never ready for it when they start. Like I don't even like that song. The Will I See You Again? I don't even like that song, but they play it and I get emotional. And like
Yeah.
getting in the real world, they played it at Kobe Bryant's memorial service.
Oh, boy.
At the Staples Center, Wiz and Charlie came out and did the song. It got me choked up, and like I don't even like this damn song, but I love like it's emotional resonance. So
Yeah, it's way deeper than it needs to be, right? Like,
Yes.
and it's just the connection to Paul Walker that gives that.
Yep.
Like, if you heard that song before and like it wasn't part of Fast and Furious and Paul Walker, this would have never been like a hit.
like I'll drive home and it comes on the radio, and I have to let the song finish because like how can we not talk about family? Because it's all we got.
Family's all we got.
All we got.
So I got Furious 7 at number 2. Number 3 is Fast and Furious 6.
Okay.
So yeah, 6 is great.
So far, top 3, all with The Rock. Okay. I see
Yeah.
how this is going.
Now this is where it gets a little interesting because I went over this middle part like 3 or 4 times, and
It's
each time
hard. It gets
it
hard.
came out different. But I think I'm gonna stick to this ranking.
Okay.
Let's go with number 4 is Fast and Furious 4, like the kind of restart of the
Ooh,
franchise.
okay,
or the,
Reboot, yeah.
the soft reboot. Number 5, I'm going with Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay.
I like Too Fast.
Number 6, I think I'm gonna go with Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
We're big Tokyo Drift fans.
Yeah.
We're big Tokyo Drift fans over
Now,
here.
here's a question for you, and
Yeah.
I don't want to derail your thing, but are there gaps between certain movies? Because like there's a few that we have, then there's sort of like a little gap, and there's another gap, like in terms of like where. So like it seems like the top 3 are maybe together, then there's like a gap between your third and fourth. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, like the top 3 are locked in. Like
Okay,
the only
yes.
difference is maybe one day 6 will be higher than 7.
right,
The other
yeah,
day
yeah.
it flips back. But those are all 3 locked in. Then like this middle 3, Fast and Furious, Too Fast and Furious, and Tokyo Drift, they're kind of locked into their level where they're all
Mhm.
there, but sometimes it rotates among the 3. And then we go to the bottom 3. Number 7 is Hobbs and Shaw.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. I like
And
Hobbs
again,
Shaw.
like it sounds bad to say like it's number 7, but
Right.
I think what we've seen through all these movies is there really isn't a stinker in the bunch. Like even
No.
my number 9 movie is a fun kind of popcorn flick. So like I got Hobbs and Shaw at 7. I got the original Fast and Furious at number 8.
Which is tying our all-time low ranking
Mm.
for the original.
Yeah, yeah. Did you not have nostalgia for it? Did you see it when it first came out?
Well, see, I liked it when it first came out, but it didn't grab me.
Okay.
Like we'll talk about it when we get into Too Fast, Too Furious. Like Too Fast, Too Furious grabbed me.
Okay, that was
so
it.
like that's why it's higher on the list, much higher on the list than the original. And then finally, bringing up the rear,
I know what it is.
Yeah.
The Fate of the Furious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same. You're right in this camp. There's not too many people
mean,
that have it above
White
that.
girl dreadlocks bring it down every time.
Fair point. Fair
I apologize
point.
to any of our Caucasian female listeners that have
Have
dreadlocks. It's
dreadlocks,
nothing
yeah.
personal.
Yeah, shout out Sway. Shout out Sway. Importantly, Joe, overall, if our next guest puts Fast 5 number 1, the average for that will be below 2. It'll be closer to it'll be a 1.99. Like we are Fast
Ooh.
5, the last 4 guests we've had have all been 1. 8 of the last 10 guests have all had it at first. Like people love 5. Consensus pretty much across the board. Yeah, Fate is struggling even down further past 7 right now. So
Jeez.
Fate is not kind to Fate, if you know what
No.
I mean.
No, it's not.
And the thing is, like I said, guys, it's like I often hear you make the comparison to the MCU.
Yep.
And so I look at Fate like I look at Thor: The Dark World or Incredible Hulk, where they're bad MCU movies, but they're not bad superhero movies.
Yeah, they're
And
fun.
True.
Like
I agree.
Fast and Furious 8 is a bad Fast and Furious movie, but compared to what else is out there, I'll still watch that over some other random action film.
Of course.
That's funny, and everybody that comes on, like, we're all always talking about this. We rank them. Everybody's like, yeah, 8 is really low, but nobody's like, I'm not going to go see 9 now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody's like, oh, we're still on board.
John Cena's in 9 as a wrestling fan. Like, you've already got my $12.
I think you mentioned that you saw the one when it came out. Like, have you been on this franchise's bandwagon since the beginning, or where did you first join? What was the first one you saw?
Well, I actually saw the first one, but I wasn't on the bandwagon at the time.
Okay.
I don't think I fully jumped on the bandwagon until 5. Like, it was always kind of a second tier or third tier franchise to me until 5 kicked it up a notch, where the only franchise I watch more than the Fast films are the MCU films.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's jumped Star Wars for me. It's jumped Star Trek. It like any other kind of big franchise. I guess the Expendables ? Like any other big franchise, to me, Fast has supplanted itself in that top tier with the MCU.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, for us, it's number 1.
Yes.
Obviously.
Actually, Joe, I've got some devastating news. I'm seeing another franchise right now, and
Oh my God, who is it?
I don't even have like a joke. I don't even like. I can't even betray this that way. I can't.
Oh, you were just kidding. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do like other there's nothing more exciting
we're
to
not
me than
haters.
like when a franchise or like a TV like when you can get lost in an ongoing thing, like that's the best thing in the world. Like when you have like you start a new TV show that has like 200 episodes, you're like, oh my God, this is my favorite thing. Or like you start like a 1,000-page book, you're like, oh my, I can't, like I have so much more of this and I love it already. When you have an ongoing something, whether it's a franchise or a TV series or whatever, there's almost like no better feeling in discovering something new. You're like, not only do I love this, but there is so much of this for me to
content
love.
already.
Yes.
Yeah. I just had a thought. We were talking about this. We were talking about the MCU and Fast and Furious, and we've never discussed this. What if they did a Jetsons meet the Flintstones, and they have a full actual crossover between like the MCU and Fast and Furious, and like Dom and Thor together?
Yeah.
Driving, like we have everything just all full circle. The Hulk. Well, how would you feel about that?
Well, we've already got the Hulk in this movie, in this franchise, in the form of a car.
True.
Oh, so what you're saying is you just want scenes with Lil Bow Wow and Mark Ruffalo.
You know, like just like one movie crossover, and we're like, okay, that's what we got. And like, you know, we just see it just for like one episode, like somebody really bad comes in, they have to call Thor. Thor just shows up, fucks something up, and then he like skips off into the sunset.
Well, here's what makes that so even crazier. What takes it up even another level, because you have MCU, you got the Fastiverse, but then we've got one man who is in a separate universe altogether, and that's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is Black Adam. So we bring it in the DC universe as well. So it's the ultimate crossover between these franchises.
Yeah, we could get the whole thing. I just think it would be really interesting. I think that they could get away with it at this point. I think that we're pushing it enough that in 10, like if like the Hulk actually showed up, everybody would be like, I'm okay with it.
Maybe when Tony Stark died, he didn't really die. He just went to a different universe, and he pops up on the Fast and Furious, and now he's our new Mr. Nobody.
Oh.
RDJ as the new nobody.
Wonderful.
He just leaves one huge franchise for this one. Like he just like
he tried Doolittle didn't work. He's like, all right, cool. I gotta get when the getting's good.
How great would it be if he just walked out of the shadows in 9 or 10?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I just saw Onward, the new Pixar movie, and in that there's like, there's Troll Brothers or whatever they are, and they're played by the guys who play Star-Lord and Spider-Man. So I'm already like in the MCU mindset, and they're bringing their dad back to life, and it's kind of like a Weekend at Bernie's situation, because the whole movie is them trying to revive the dad for the day. They're just Weekend at Bernie's. They make sort of a top half of a body. He's just sort of like flopping around, and so I'm thinking the whole movie, oh, that's Robert Downey Jr. Like they're just like bringing him around, like Iron Man just toting him around. So he doesn't have a line in the entire movie, but like I'm just like, oh, RDJ's right there. So now he's just working his way from Doolittle to Pixar and clearly into the Fastiverse.
Exactly. Sorry, that was a tangent, but I just had the thought finally right there. So I was like, oh, I want to share that with these guys.
All right, so now Nate, we got some either or questions, lightning round questions. You've heard these before. No wrong answers. Just we want to get a sense of. I mean, we know who you are, but we want to get a sense of how you see you in this movie, in this franchise. So, question number 1: would you say that you're more of a Brian or a Dom?
Dom.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Family. It's all about family.
That's all that we got.
Now, do you think you're more of a Mia or a Letty?
Ooh. I like to think I'm a Letty, but I'm probably actually a Mia.
That is basically the answer that everyone gives because we're like, we love Letty, but like we know that we're not a Letty.
Yeah,
We,
I'm not
and we
a
came to the conclusion that if you have a podcast, you're probably not a Letty.
Yeah, Letty is not spending time on a weekend editing in Audacity.
No, she's not.
Dom, you got that MP3 for me?
Yeah.
Dom, I really need that MP3. Come on, Dom. You said you were going to send it last night. Very important to this movie. Are you more of a Roman or a Tej? And right now, tied. Equal number of people said Roman, equal number of people said Tej.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, interesting. Well, I think I'll keep that tie going because on the microphone, I'm Roman, but when the mics are off, I'm Tej.
That's a good one.
On mic,
Yeah.
Roman. Off mic, Tej. I like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
This is close to your heart, I think. More of a Hobbs or a Shaw?
Come on. I gotta go with my man Hobbs.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd be betraying my whole franchise if I went with Shaw in this one.
So this lap, we're calling this the kicking an old school lap. We're going to get into that a little bit more to kick off the conversation in a little bit. But, we're really kind of focusing in a way on the cars. Car question here for you. Are you more a fan of American muscle or imports? This movie filled with imports. There's very few American muscle here.
No, there's a couple. There's
Carter Verone's men have the muscle cars that they win in the race and whatever. But for the most part, there's a lot of tuners. So, it fits the aesthetic of Miami. But muscles or imports?
I love a good import, but given that this is an election year, I got to play to my constituency, play to my base. It's all about American muscle.
Love it.
Makes sense.
Corona or Belgian ale?
Come on, man. Like silly coronavirus jokes aside, it's all about the Corona.
All right.
Always Corona. Yeah, dude, Corona, it's just an easy drinking beer, man. You're not going to offend anybody with a Corona, I don't think.
No.
Now, Nate, we're pulling a job. Are you a racer or are you a designer? Are you out in the field doing it or are you the man in the chair supporting from HQ?
Ooh. In my 20s, I probably would have been a racer.
Okay.
But now that I'm a more distinguished older age, I'll be the guy in the chair.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go to jail immediately. I get it.
Yeah. I'm a much more careful driver now.
Oh, same. I'm such a slow driver. Like
I respect that.
It's such a joke. Like I used to have, I gave it to my buddy Zach and I was driving his car, but like I had like a radar detector and like he just has it in his car now. And I'm like, I couldn't even take this thing back if I wanted. Like there's no use for this for me anymore.
They don't mess with my safe driving discount, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, no, like people like pass me. I'm like, go for it.
We just won. We just stole whatever verb you want to use. $11 million. You're going to Macau. You're going to Vegas. You're going wherever you want to go. Monaco. You're betting it all on roulette. Are you putting it all on black? You putting it all on red?
I'm going to say this as if nobody else has said it on your podcast before, but in the words of the great American poet Wesley Snipes, always bet on black.
I would say more people have said that than not said that, but that's also exactly what I said,
Yes.
so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, more people than you can imagine actually have said that. They're all with you.
When is Wesley going to join this franchise?
Oh, because now that Blade is Mahershala, what's Wesley got going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
True.
he would fit perfectly in this as like an older statesman, like maybe like one of Mr. Nobody's colleagues or somebody, or I don't know.
FBI agent.
Yeah. Safety guaranteed here, Nate. Are you more likely to drive a car into a plane before it takes off as it's taking off, or skydive out of a plane in a car, parachute, GPS guide you onto the road? Safety guaranteed. You're not going to get in harm's way either way, but you need to deal with the fear. You need to deal with the adrenaline rush. What do you want to do?
Into a plane. To me, it's more fun because it's just a straight shot, but also, I don't do well with heights.
I hate heights, and it gets worse as I get older too, man. I don't even like looking off like the edge of a railing anymore. Like if I'm in if I'm in an arena and it's too high, I'm like, oh no, I'm good here.
Yeah, I had a convention last summer at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And the first day of the convention, I had these really great seats. It was on that second level. But then the next day of the convention, they switched it so everybody could have a good seat. And we were at the very top of the stadium.
Oh, no.
And after about 5 minutes, I had to go into the concourse and just watch the rest of the speaker through the TV monitor.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't be up there.
Oof.
My knees get weak. I start to get whew.
So you're saying you have no knees?
Oh.
All right, Nate, a couple more questions. Is the word oil one syllable or two?
One to me. One.
Okay.
Oil.
Unpopular answer, but I respect it.
Oil.
Now, I think if I have my geography right, I think you're based down in the Virginia area. Is that true?
That is correct.
I don't know if either of these are in your area, but do you have a personal preference between Whataburger and the In-N-Out Burger?
Ooh, see, I used to live in San Diego, so I'm familiar with In-N-Out.
Okay.
And I got relatives in Texas, so I know a little something about that
Okay.
Whataburger. I'm going Whataburger.
My man.
Oh,
Love it.
ow. Oh, no.
I am wild. I haven't done the math here. I am wildly outnumbered on this one, so I need all the help I can get. So I really appreciate you throwing, like, this is like a tag team match now, Whataburger's team, we're building up a little bit more. I love it. I love it. I love it.
No. God, no. Yeah, we have this argument a lot. I'm a big In-N-Out fan. Joey, I had Whataburger. I was very unimpressed with it. And Joey disagrees. Yeah.
It's, again, not my favorite burger, but I'm unimpressed with In-N-Out. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's not like, if
Last
I have
time,
all the
actually,
places
we
in
were
the
just in
world.
California like 2 weeks ago. I had another buddy who was also very unimpressed with In-N-Out. We went there, and he said, like, you know what? Just give me exactly what you order, and I'll eat like exactly what you order because you're really stoked about it. He ate the burger the way I ordered it, and he was like, honestly, that was the best In-N-Out I've ever had. I still don't think it's great, but I think that was the best experience that I've had at In-N-Out. I was like, cool. That's all I wanted.
If I'm being honest, if I'm out on the West Coast, which I hope to be this time next year, In-N-Out's cool, Roscoe's is cool, but I'm Rubio's all the way. Like Rubio's
What
fish
is
tacos.
Rubio's?
Oh, Rubio's fish tacos.
What is Rubio's?
I don't even know if they still exist, but when I used to live in San Diego, I would go there like at least twice
Is
a
it
week
a
after
chain?
school. Yeah, it was a chain of like a little taco place. They specialized in fish tacos.
Oh, man. I gotta see if
Coastal
this is...
inspired fresh Mexican food. All right.
Yes.
Oh, man, damn. Okay, well, I'm adding that to the list of places I have to hit when I'm in San Diego.
There's one in Orlando, Joe. So if there's one in
There
Orlando,
is?
there's one in Tampa, one in St. Petersburg.
Really?
Yeah, so if we go back to the Fast and Furious experience, we might have to
Oh.
hit up a Rubio's Coastal Grill.
Yeah, we can head down there, go see some some sports, go to Universal. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
down.
and then after those, then like the closest one from here besides Florida is Colorado. So it's mostly a West Coast thing. And they wound up in Florida. So I guess just water all around. How are you not gonna have that fish taco when fish tacos is all you got?
Yeah.
All right, Nate. Kind of a dark question here. Would you rather die in a fiery explosion or in icy water?
Explosion, because it's quicker.
Okay.
It's more badass.
Okay.
I just want a slow motion camera shot.
Like I have aquaphobia. I swim. I can go in the pool or whatever. But like being out in the ocean, like no, that's
Ocean's
we're
a
not
whole
doing
other
Scares
ball
the fuck
game.
out of me.
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, it's for sure, man. If I'm like more than like 10 feet in the water, like I start to get a little nervous. I feel you.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds or The Dark Knight?
Dark Knight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, we're doing a heist. We need your help. We're like, Nate, go out there, sing a song, distract them. What song are you singing karaoke style?
Ooh, either New Edition's Candy Girl
Okay.
or Darius Rucker's Wagon Wheel.
Okay.
Oh, damn. We get the best answers to this question. I think that this is honestly like the only question we need to ask because we've gotten every type of possible answer you can imagine. And they're all great. It's just like rowdy shit all the time.
Yeah.
Good choices.
And then last question, and I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it from the guest's mouth himself. Do you have a favorite character in this franchise? It might be an obvious question, knowing who you are, knowing the show that you have. Who's your favorite character?
And this is something we talked about when you guys were on the Rock Maivia picture show. As much as I love The Rock, as much as I love Letty, as much as I love Han and Tej and Brian, my favorite characters are a tandem, a tag team. To go back to that term you used, Joey. I'm talking about Rico and Tego.
That's such a yeah. They're severely underrated.
Yes,
you know
they bring the comic relief. They bring the explosive know-how.
Yeah. You get a little You get like a little Spanish. You know, you get like a different language. You get like a little exotic feel to it. I like it. Yeah.
Like it was so great. What was the movie they popped up again? Like was it 7 or 8? Where they just kind of popped up randomly.
I think in 8, because I think everybody came in back in 8.
Yes,
So
it
they're
was.
just, like,
It
all
was
over
8.
New York. They're like, we got everybody coming in here.
And they just popped up randomly. That might have been my favorite scene of the movie. It's like, they're back.
Yeah.
All right, so now, to kick things off, to talk about Too Fast, Too Furious, because this is basically going to be your time to shine, whatever you want to talk about. But since we are kicking it old school, we got a couple car questions. Answer one, answer more than one. Do you have a favorite car movie? Do you have a Barbie dream car? Is there like one that you're like, ooh, if I had all the money in the world, this is the car that I would want? Or, if neither of those really apply, do you have a favorite car or a favorite car stunt in this movie. I'm going to say real quick, jumping a car onto a boat. Like, how many movies can
It's
say they do
top
that? Like,
tier.
it's great.
Okay, so
First one.
first one.
Favorite car movie.
Favorite car movie? It's got to be the Fast movies. So
Okay.
Fast Five, I guess, is my favorite car movie.
Fair?
Because
Okay,
it's my
yeah,
favorite.
yeah.
It's my favorite Fast movie. Dream car. When I was younger, it was a Lamborghini all day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I even had like the model Lamborghini kit, and I made it, and then just sat it on my desk, and it was.
You got the poster? Poster in the
And
background?
the poster, yep. When I was in high school or probably middle school, I had like the Trapper Keeper with the Lamborghini.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was the good stuff. You had those like really cool ones. They would have like the doors open. Yeah.
The older I get, though, the more I think I want to kick it old school, as you have said so eloquently, Joey. And so I think like maybe like a 77, 79 Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
Ooh.
Just old, like classic, elegant, old man, cool style. Like that's a car like my uncles in like Mississippi and Texas would just ride up to the family barbecue, just like that's it.
Actually, I got a question for you guys, and it's not really about this car, but it reminded me. You
What?
know, like that undercover. I'm sure. I don't know actually if it's true everywhere, if it's just like the New Jersey undercover cop car, but there's a certain kind of cop car that's like the undercover, but it has like the extra mirror on the driver's side. Rear view mirror and everything. What's your thought about owning that, like from a police auction, like that you just have what's basically known as the undercover cop car, but you're just a civilian? Like, is that a cool thing, or is that just like a like? 'Cause I feel like whenever I see one of those behind me, I'm like, oh, I got to slow down, and I'm like, no, it's just some buster, who bought the car. Like that's not a cop. It's kind of cool, but it's also like, oh, that's kind of dumb.
To imitate a police officer is like the grossest thing in the world to me. And in that sense, I would never want anyone to mistake me for a cop, no matter what.
Okay.
So, no, I would never have one.
No.
If the only thing that I would accept is taking like the cop motor out of it and putting it back into one that wasn't a cop car.
Okay.
Because they do soup up the engines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is something that goes along generational lines. Because I think if I was 20, like maybe I'd do that as a lark, as a gag, as a sign of
to fuck with your
youthful
friends.
Yes. Yep. But like now I'm like, no, because like you said, first of all, like why do I want to be in something that it will associate me with the police officer like that?
Nope.
Depending on where you are, that might or might not be the safest thing to do.
Good
So,
point. Good point.
Like I don't want to upset the police, and I don't want to upset the people that the police are investigating. So
Exactly.
I don't want either parts of that discussion.
I'd rather lay much lower than that.
Yes.
Just
In my
like in general.
my 79 Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
You're definitely going to stand out in that, but
The
you're also not going to
Eldorado.
like scare anybody.
I gotta say, it's not. I don't know that it's my Barbie dream car, but I mean, the whole Breaking Bad movie, El Camino. Like, there's the really badass El Camino in that.
Yeah.
The TV show Better Things just started up season 4, and like that's the Pamela Adlon show. And in the first or second episode, she gets a classic El Camino. Like her minivan gets stolen from the body shop that she's got it repaired in. And so she goes out and buys a classic El Camino. I'm like, that's a really badass car. And like they make a joke in the show, like, is this even remotely going to pass like the smog check? And she says, probably not. I fear that like we're kind of losing that classic car sort of thing because like we're all becoming greener, like for good reasons. We're all becoming greener, but like there's like these
they're
old
exempt.
badass. Okay. So like
they
it's
exempt
a
them,
it's a
so
badass
you don't-
looking car.
Yeah. El Caminos are cool. Well, and fucking Clint Eastwood had one in that movie, right? Or no, Gran Torino.
It's a Gran
sorry.
Torino, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
In the movie Gran Torino, he had an El
Yeah.
Camino.
Yeah. It rhymed, man. My brain was there.
The Black Keys had a whole album or a song or something, El Camino, too. Like, I think it's like, it's this,
true.
I love the Dodge Charger, I love the Dodge Challenger, but like that El Camino, like it's
cool.
It's a beautiful looking car.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, now Nate, Too Fast. This is the movie you wanted to do more than any other. Hit us with it. What do you love about this movie? It's higher
what's
than
so
other
special?
movies.
So you said that you like this for reasons that people might not like this. What are those reasons? How does it hit you? Why did it drag you in?
The first reason, and it's funny that we're doing this a month after Black History Month, because I think this might be the blackest entry in all of the Fast saga.
For sure.
Like from a standpoint,
John
like
Singleton.
this is a John Singleton film. Like it prominently co-stars Tyrese. Ludacris has a big part in this. Like it feels, as much as I like the first Fast and the Furious, and I do, like I think this movie just appealed to me on a level that the first one didn't, because it felt like it was kind of speaking my language to a certain extent.
That's cool.
The music, the visuals was just so slick. And this might be an unpopular opinion. I think this is maybe the best version of Roman Pierce that we get.
I would agree.
Joey agrees. He likes him earlier. I like as he evolves and gets like goofier. I enjoy it, but I can see it. Yeah.
I like him in 5. Like 5 is maybe peak Roman. The more the series goes on, he kind of becomes more of a caricature.
That's exactly what Joey says.
He's just kind of used as the comic guy, and I'm like, nah. If you go back to Too Fast, like yeah, Roman had his funny moments. I'm hungry, but at the end of the day, Roman was still a badass, and I think we kind of lose that.
The comedy works because of the other stuff. Like when in Fate, especially, and we have talked about this, and the caricature word is exactly the word that I've used. Like when literally every line is a joke, there's no surface to anything. There's no like substance to anything. And so finally at the end, when they're going across the ice and like he actually exerts like, oh yeah, I'm a competent person, he takes people out, and then he's thrown in the one-liners, that's when I'm on board, because I'm like, look, he's doing other things other than just being the clown. But when everything he does is just like, oh, I gotta throw in a joke here, and whether that's written or if he's like ad-libbing a little bit or if he's got room to breathe or whatever, it just feels like the character has lost something. And I know that they keep adding people and they don't have as much time to like fully develop them, but like it doesn't feel like we've lost anything on other characters. It doesn't feel like that's happened in any regard as much as it has with Roman.
Yeah, I think it does happen to an extent where Dom is family and Coronas, where Tej is this guy that was a mechanic that suddenly is like the second best hacker on the team. I think people kind of get put into boxes a bit, but nobody's been forced into a box more than Roman, in my opinion. Like Roman doesn't have as much room to maneuver in terms of what his character can do as much as Tej or Han or any of the other guys.
I wonder if that's because like they haven't really established like the funny guy other than him. And as the movies get more serious and as they keep having to save the world, they're like, well, we got the guy who, has the jokes. Everybody has humor here and there, but it also feels like, oh, well, we can just throw Roman in there. And it feels like when they have 5 hackers, like when they keep adding hackers, like you just add another comedy guy. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I think that would take away from him. And I think that the thing is he doesn't have enough skills. Like he's like, other than being the Joker, he doesn't have a real skill set to help the team. So like they have to give him jokes, otherwise he's just gonna get written out of the movies because he's gonna like not have any screen time left, right? Because like Tej is like, okay, he was like the first hacker, and then they're like, okay, we need a lady hacker, so they got Ramsey. Everybody has like kind of their part, but he's just like his part is joke.
Well, I think Roman works, and this is another reason why I like Too Fast so much. I think Roman works better when there's no Dom around.
Okay,
that's true.
Because I think like the relationship between him and Brian, I really like that in this movie.
Yep.
But then B, like you said, Joey, like Roman is not just this joke machine. Like Roman can be like a bad dude. He's not as bad as a dude as he could be if he's standing next to Vin Diesel and he's standing next to The Rock. Yeah. So they, like those guys being in the picture kind of, and Jason Statham now, like they kind of make
John Cena.
Yeah. They make Tyrese feel less than. So it's like the only thing he's got that these other guys don't is he can crack a joke and sing the happy birthday song.
Right. And we've talked about before, and it's just unfortunate because of Paul's actual passing, but I feel like losing Brian kind of took away, because it felt like Paul the actor was kind of a champion of Tyrese and champion of Roman. And it feels like as Paul and as Brian have left this franchise, it feels like Roman kind of feels out of place. I mean, he's become part of the family, but he was always in Brian's life, right? Like he was always there, and it felt like both on screen and off screen, based on like interviews and whatever, felt like they had a bond. And it felt like, Paul championed him, was like, let's bring him up, like let's bring Roman in here, whatever, to the point where like when it's Team Dom, whatever, like all the different drama, whatever, it felt like he's falling in line kind of with Paul, or you know what I mean? As time has gone on, and as the franchise maybe has pivoted toward how do we do this without our main character, it's kind of left Roman behind too, and that's just unfortunate.
Sad. I agree.
Now, how do you think about Tej's growth over the franchise? Because I feel like he started out in this movie. We hear that he hit a wall doing $120 or whatever, doesn't drive anymore. But like a couple movies later, he's driving again. Like where do you see the Tej character growing? How do you see him changing and evolving? And do you like where he's wound up? Because he's the other real big addition to the family in this movie.
Yeah, honestly, I think Tej's kind of character arc is the inverse of Roman. Like, yes, he's still kind of in this box of hacker mechanic guy, but I think they've given Tej layers that they haven't given Roman. We get to see like a softer side, I guess, of Tej, and I also think like Ludacris is an underrated actor, man. Like, yeah, people can say he's, a rapper playing these parts or whatever. But if you go back and look at Ludacris in these Fast and Furious movies, if you look at Ludacris in Hustle and Flow, which I thought he was really good in that, he's not Denzel, he's not Tom Hanks, but Ludacris can act. And
no,
I think
he's good. He's believable. It just feels natural. So, and that's the only thing you can ask for.
And I think like Ludacris adds to this, like he feels more a part of the team at this point than Roman, even though they're all part of the family.
Like in terms of the softer side, like what also kind of confuses me or frustrates me is that like when you bring Ramsey in, you then have Roman and Tej both going after her. It just feels like they don't even have enough characters to like have different things. Just like they're both going after her.
All right, guys. Woman.
We're bringing in one lady. So you guys are gonna have to rock paper scissors. I don't know what the process here is, but I don't like the fact that like yes, obviously there's always, even in this movie to a certain extent, there's always been this kind of brotherly competition between Tej and Roman. But I don't think that Roman Pierce, Mr. Roman Pierce, that we met here in Too Fast, Too Furious, I don't think like if he knew Tej was like really serious about Ramsey, I don't think like he would encroach upon whatever relationship they are trying to build.
I don't think that he is.
In terms of characters, like she doesn't fit with him because I think she's way too smart and capable to put up with the Roman that we get, from 7, 8,
Roman bitches.
on. Yeah, she doesn't have to put up with this dude.
Definitely not. Giving her what is it, like vouchers for the casino, for the buffet.
What's also crazy though is that like it doesn't feel like Roman's the kind of character that would have any trouble getting a lady. Like maybe he can't keep a lady, but they're
like on the international watch list all the time now, Joey. You can't just Tinder that. He's like constantly he's top 10, he's 11th most wanted person in the world.
Lady's like a bad guy, a bad boy, a baby boy.
So many degrees there.
I mean, I believe again, going to my poetry background, I believe it was the American poets, the Backstreet Boys, that said, if you want it to be good, girl, get yourself a bad boy.
Finer words, truer words were never spoken than by those 5 poets.
Classic American poets.
So now here's a question I don't think we've asked really this way, but we're talking about, Roman and Tej. Is there a character in this movie that goes away? Like, do you have a particular connection to Suki or to MC Jin or to Carter Verone? Because as Joe and I were watching this last night on our family watch along, we were talking about how like Carter Verone is alive. Like there's very few villains that are like basically not still in the movie and not killed, right? Like he's still around. Could he come back? Is there somebody in this movie that you're like, I want to see more of them. I want to know more what's going on. Like, is there somebody here that you connect with that you wish came back in 9 or 10 or anywhere?
Yeah, my 2 would definitely be MC Jin as Jimmy or Suki, because I think before Han, like that was our Asian representation.
That is true. Yeah,
I think Suki, like there's just something to her character. Like she doesn't get a ton of screen time, but whenever she's on the screen, like,
and it works. I think she's a great character. Like I'm surprised that they haven't tried to bring her back yet, and I hope that they're just saving it for 9 or 10. That we can just get like a little. They wind up in Miami somehow, and Suki's just there. Like she doesn't need to be a superhero or like an amazing hacker now, but at the same time, like, they should wave to her when they drive by Miami one time.
Probably what happened to Suki and Jimmy, and you could probably make the same argument to Bow Wow in Tokyo Drift, is that because the movies they were aren't the most widely remembered, fondly, those characters kind of faded away.
Yeah.
Whereas anybody introduced from 4 on, they're core. They're integral to the franchise now. But some of these other characters and these actors who were really good, they don't get to come back, or we haven't seen yet because their movies weren't the best received.
It's sad for me because I'm like, is there not a time that we could get like a little shout like Suki has? Suki took over Tej's garage, and it's now the Suki garage or something. Like we could just get like a little passing thing, 5 minutes, not even one scene. But yeah, you're right. I think that's what it is. It's like 2 and 3 especially just get shunned between for the story. We're like, okay, we have Roman, we have Tej, we're good. That's all we needed. And like they just keep moving on.
But Lucas Black can come back and get these checks. Okay.
Yeah, I know. What the fuck? He
keeps coming back too.
Did you see him in 9? Did you see him in the trailer?
Yes, I did. Like Lucas Black, his agent. He is the greatest agent in the world because out of all the people in Tokyo Drift, and I like Tokyo Drift. It's hovering around my top 5. Like I like Tokyo Drift a lot, but Lucas Black is not the part of that movie that I remember the most fondly.
No, and he's now 45.
I didn't realize that he's basically done nothing much since Tokyo Drift, aside from being in 125 episodes of NCIS New Orleans. Like,
Yes,
Oh.
that's right.
found
He
his
is in
thing.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
he is in that. Yep.
Also, he played Pee Wee Reese in 42. Okay.
Yes, yep.
Wow, all right.
Chadwick Boseman. Yep. He's like, they don't like you, Jackie, then they don't like me because I'm Pee Wee Reese. We gonna stop racism on this field here today, Jackie.
Slide? What do you mean slide?
I saw that movie at like a premiere, like not even a premiere. So like the guy that made that movie also made The Dark Knight. He was like showcasing
Really?
it.
Wait,
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Legendary Pictures, like the guy who like
Oh,
high
the
up
producer,
produced
the
like
studio,
money,
okay.
Oh, I
the
thought
money guys.
Christopher Nolan
Yeah,
made.
Nolan did
No,
not
no,
make
no, no, no.
42.
Sorry, the real money, like the guys who made the
Yes,
movie.
yes.
Those guys. So he had come in from California and he was like going to show it in Pittsburgh, and I saw that movie 42 in a theater with just the entire Pittsburgh Steelers and me, and there was no soundtrack yet. So it was like a really rough cut that just had like no music in between because like it hadn't been like cleared or chosen or something. And it was just like a really bizarre experience that I'll never forget watching that movie with them. And like they all the Steelers were just like, oh, they like somehow had like an open bar kind of at the
Oh, wow.
theater. And it wasn't like, no, but it wasn't drinks. It was like open, like all food and stuff. So like
okay.
they just went and like I remember these dudes just grabbing like 30 bags of Skittles and like just carrying all of this candy with them to go eat this movie. It was just such a bizarre, yeah.
I've heard that story before, and I don't know why we would have talked about that. Like, what
I have no
podcast did we talk
idea.
about that on?
Yeah, Harrison Ford. Actually, Harrison Ford was there, and I met Harrison Ford that weekend
So
too.
Blade Runner,
okay.
maybe?
Maybe the Blade Runner episode. Yeah.
All right.
That's right, because he was Branch Rickey.
Yeah.
Weird tangent.
No, all good. So Nate, what else about this movie? Because I mean, we've talked about this movie 5 or 6 times. We sort of did like a live commentary of sorts when we did the family watch along party. So I feel like Joe and I kind of said other stuff the other night that we can touch on again here. But like, what else about this movie do you want to talk about? Is there anything about this that you don't like? That like, what keeps it from being higher? Is it just like it's not as
good
fun
one.
as 5, 6, or 7?
Yeah, I think. Well, again, you know what I really like about this movie is also kind of ironically enough what keeps it out of that upper echelon for me. In the fact that it's a little bit more gritty, like it's more urban, I guess you would say if you were pitching this in a boardroom. Like this is the urban
More
version of the
urban.
Fast and Furious.
I can definitely see an old white guy in a suit being like, if we had an urban Fast and the Furious,
Yes.
what would it look like? And it would be this.
Like I think people either ignore this movie or they crap on it, but this movie is important because without this movie, I don't know if Tej and Roman are introduced in another way, right?
No, we'll never get them.
Yeah, and so if we
It's
don't
pivotal
get
to
them,
that.
everything else in this franchise has changed because that's 2 members of the family that's gone right there.
Two very good members that I
Yeah.
like 2 of my favorite members.
I love the interaction between Paul Walker and Tyrese. Tyrese is never somebody that's going to get confused with Denzel. Same with Paul Walker. But I thought, I really bought the chemistry and the friendship between the two.
Have you heard the backstories that like they actually developed a really serious friendship and they kept getting in trouble on set because they would like dick around together?
In
Like
Miami,
they were getting into trouble. Yeah, like they were in Miami, so they were like out, like they would like go party like after they were shooting, and they would like come in late to like the next day. I have this theory that if you watch the movie closely, there's like a bunch of scenes that I think that they're like either hungover in or like didn't want to do. Like it was either like holding them back from partying or they were like partying too much the night before. Because like you see like a lot of ones that Brian just like totally mails in the line in this movie. He just like doesn't feel like being on set that day, and he's like, yeah, whatever, I don't fucking care about this thing. But when Tyrese tells the story of it, he's like, oh, like, and he'll say it in a way, he's like, yeah, we got in like a lot of trouble when we were shooting Too Fast, Too Furious. And like you could see that they were just like wreaking havoc in Miami together. So
I could definitely see that because this movie to me feels like the Fast and Furious version of a 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte or something of that, like a buddy cop movie. Like we've got the fast talking, street smart black dude, and then we've got like his white partner that's no nonsense. It's an updated version of that kind of trope. James Remar is one of my favorite actors ever. Like from his stuff on Dexter to I am one of the co-hosts on the Black Lightning podcast, and he's a pivotal part.
Oh yeah,
Black Lightning show on the CW. So like he's always been one of my favorite actors. So for him to be like the uptight FBI agent, like that scene where Roman and him get into the argument, and he just looks in the guy's fast food bag and he's like, "Hey, that's my lunch," and he's like, "So?"
When we were watching that last night, I was like, is there anything more disrespectful than like eating someone else's lunch like straight out of their bag like that? Like that like cuts to the core. Like it makes me uncomfortable. I'll be like, oh God, like that is so flagrant. Like you're just gonna eat this man's lunch in front of him? Like, damn.
Yeah, like that, just the disrespect, and so like I like that. I love like Suki. Like I thought MC Jin was great in his like supporting role. Jectocito Cuzzo is one of my favorite Fast and Furious bits. But I think like all that stuff that I like is part of why I don't have it ranked as high when I rank all the Fast and Furious movies, because it feels very standalone. Like except for Brian and Ludacris and Tyrese, who eventually become part of this universe, like everything else, this could have been a completely different film franchise. There's no real connection, like, because we never see Suki again. We never see Jimmy. Like, a lot of the stuff in this that doesn't pertain to Tej, Roman, or Brian is never mentioned again. So, like, that's to me what one of the negatives about this film is that it just feels like they didn't know what to do once Vin was like, I can't do this because I'm doing Riddick or whatever.
Yeah.
This was just kind of like what they came up with on the fly.
You know, I agree to a certain extent there, but what I like about it, sort of the glass half full there, is that especially in terms of like specifically booking this podcast, there are very few movies that you can't watch first. Like this movie as a standalone, like you can see this without having seen the first one. I mean, you wouldn't know Brian. I think it helps to know Brian, but like it teaches you enough about Brian. Like this is basically, to your point, a standalone movie, but it's also kind of a good thing because like 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 are all kind of like good entry points. And also Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
I think 6, 7, 8 are the ones where like you kind of need to do a little bit of homework to understand what's going on there.
Yeah.
I like the idea to a certain point, although I would like it to be more inclusive or in terms of like narratively inclusive.
Even.
Yeah. There's something kind of beautiful in a way about a movie where you can just jump in and be like, I don't really know who this one guy is, but it feels like everything else is new. This is cool. And like it might inspire people to go back to the first. And like I wonder, there's got to be people out there who saw this movie first, like, oh, I got to check out the first one. Be like, I don't like this. Like, there's got to be something. And I want to meet that
Wildly
person.
different.
That would be fascinating.
Part of it to me, and again, this is why I have this ranked relatively high as compared to the first one, which again, I did like the original Fast and Furious, but it just feels a little bit more vibrant to me.
The color wise.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of that goes into the setting, you know, being in Miami, but also as much as we all love Vin Diesel, we all love Dom, like there's a different energy when he's not in the movie and you have to play Paul off of Tyrese. Like it just feels more like things are happening more, even if things aren't happening. Just the fact that you've got Tyrese, you know, I'm hungry, and just doing whatever little silly bit he's doing, it fits more, I think, with like what I liked at the time than the first Fast and the Furious.
And I think to that point, what this movie does well is that, like the first one, you know, it's like Brian and Dom don't quite get along, and it takes them like they're a little bit icy toward each other for a while. Then they sort of get in, and then by the end, you know, he's like, you're a cop, and then they fight or whatever, then they go free. But here, you know, Roman and Brian fight, but then like kind of quickly they're like, all right, we're in this together. And like it's fun to see them against each other, but at the same time it's also like, oh, like I'd rather see them together. And it seems like they're bonding. Like there's the one scene where they're just like on a bridge and like,
yes,
like I don't know, we've brought this up before, I don't know if it's Brian laughing or just Paul laughing at like whatever either Roman or Ty, like whatever is happening in that scene. It just feels like Brian / Paul is just having such a good time, and if you feel that.
Yeah, I love the fact that like we get the scene where like they grew up together, and then Roman, you know, got sent to jail, and then he's like, you know, I don't blame you for that. That was all me. And I hate that this has become like me just kind of throwing shade at New Roman times New Roman. I hate that font. It's so basic. This is a moment that we wouldn't get from the Roman that we've got, you know, in 7, 8, you know, probably in 9, where he can have that moment of introspection with his friend, like, yeah, my actions are what led to me going to jail. And I just love that kind of quiet scene between those two. And then another, again, you know, Roman and Tej to me are the best things to come out of this movie. The fact when they go to meet Tej and he's just got like this wild setup and everybody's gambling on the boat races or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I just love like the fact that we've only seen Tej in that opening scene. From that scene to now, and this scene where he's like kind of got his own little thing going, that tells us all we need to know, that this is a guy that's smart, that's quick with his tongue, that can put a plan together, and those traits kind of, he hustles. Those traits carry him through. He flows. Yep. That's a great movie too, Hustle and Flow. All those traits carry him through the rest of the series. Like, we still see that even today.
Another thing that's exciting in that regard about this movie is like it feels like we're learning about Roman, right? Like we're learning about this guy.
Yep.
It makes sense because it's the movie that we're introduced to him, but like they've shown as the movie has gone on, especially with your boy Rocky, as the movie's gone on, they're like, there's more layers to this Hobbs character. He's a father.
Yeah.
He's like a good father. He's got this backstory with Ryan Reynolds. Like there's like all these, like, we're learning more. It just feels like Roman is just like we learned everything in this movie. And it's like, now here's what he is. Like he's not given the room or the space to grow. And maybe that's just because there's too many characters. But I feel like specifically as the movies have gone on, actors that we know have evolved their character. Brian becomes a father. He becomes a little bit more mellow. Dom has now Elena. He's back with Letty. He's got the kid. He's got the other, whatever. It feels like Roman just doesn't have that chance to grow. And like Tej is similar, but I feel like Tej kind of pivots a little bit. Like he's like, okay, now I'm the hacker. And maybe I'm kind of lazy, but it also feels like this is something new. This is a new component to him. And Roman, it's just like we learned so much amazing stuff here about his relationship with Brian, about his backstory, about like who he is as a person, and then we just don't get that opportunity.
Yeah, they just cut it. They're just like, okay, you learned everything you need to know about him. He's done. And it's like,
even in 7, when they do the moment where the family's sitting on the beach and they're looking at Brian and the family out there on the water, Ludacris has to get Roman's attention to get him to pay attention to this moment because it's a big moment. Like, it feels like if you knew that this was like the last kind of moment, the Roman Brian, even though it's not a Roman Brian moment, the joke was not needed there of like this guy's too busy chasing skirt and looking at Ramsey to pay attention to his friend.
I agree. Yeah.
Like Roman is Hawkeye. If these are the Avengers, Roman is Hawkeye. Like in the first Avengers, he was like, okay, cool, Hawkeye, we see you. You know, you got the arrows, that's cool. But then when we start bringing in more characters, like when we start bringing in Spider-Man and Black Panther and Captain Marvel, like you don't care about Hawkeye anymore. And I think that's what this is. Like when the family was smaller, we cared about Roman, but now we've got The Rock, we got Jason Statham, we getting Han back. Don't nobody care about Roman
John
anymore.
Cena.
He's even worse than that, though. He's Hawkeye without Linda Cardellini in that farm. It's like without that scene, because like he's got at least that like, oh, I'm a family man. Like I've had this all along. It's like, oh, he's just Hawkeye. He's just like, yeah, I got arrows. Like, cool, all right,
yeah,
cool.
It doesn't hurt the franchise because, like I said, I still love all those, 5, 6, 7. But I do think there's a missed opportunity to kind of make Roman more than this one note kind of character.
Yeah. Anything else about this movie that you want to cover before we play a couple games? I'm not trying to wrap this up, but if there's, we'll stay here. We got nothing but time. So whatever you want to say, you got the time to say. But
I mean, I thought it was dinner time and you were hungry. Speaking of that, like the ending scene, like again, and I think a lot of my love for this movie
The ending is good.
Like the movie grows in retrospect because of, obviously Paul's not around anymore. I think just the moments where he's having fun. And you can tell, like, again, I don't know if it's the character of Brian or the actor, Paul Walker, that is just enjoying these moments. And we didn't get, I like the action stuff with Fast and Furious, but sometimes I feel like, particularly until we get to 5, like I think in 4, maybe it's a little bit there too, the action sometimes gets so serious that we're not having fun. And I like that the
stakes are so high.
Fun. Yeah.
And this is to sort of Joe's point, because he's been preaching this since we saw the movie, but like that's why I think Hobbs and Shaw kind of feels fresh, because it's still the stakes are high, but it feels like, oh, these movies can be fun again.
Yeah, everything doesn't have to be the end of the world.
It still is in Hobbs and Shaw, but at the same time, it doesn't seem as pressing as it gets in the later Fast and the Furiouses. You kind of know that they're going to win. I mean, not that you don't believe that Dom is always going to win, but there's always like somebody might die or something. And like in Hobbs and Shaw, they're like, nah, we're just dicking around, but it'll still work out.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, real quick, about this movie that I think is important for more than what we see on the screen, and it's something that the three of us talked about when you guys came on Rocky Maivia Picture Show. One of the great things about this series, this franchise, this saga, is its ability to cross racial boundaries, cross geographical boundaries, cross all sorts of demographics. And I think this movie in particular probably put the Fast and Furious series on the map for a lot of black folks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like we watched the first one, but like particularly when you put the name John Singleton, like particularly at that time, like that name still had a lot of resonance in the African American community. And so when we're getting like, oh, we're getting this Fast and Furious movie with John Singleton, with Tyrese, with Ludacris, I think like that brought more black fans into the tent, and they never left. And then so to me, like, this is an important movie. Like, it's not the biggest grossing movie, it's not the most well received movie. Some people actively dislike or hate this movie, but I think without this, we don't get that tent opening up a little bit wider to where we've got now, like, getting ready for 9. Like, this is probably, other than, actually, I'd say maybe even more so than the Marvel movies. Like, this is probably the biggest franchise worldwide because it touches so many people. Like, you can be a white guy in Texas and love these movies. You can be a black guy in the South and love these movies. You can be somebody in China or Japan or Mexico or Brazil and love these movies, except for that part where they drove that safe to your neighborhood. But other than that, like, these movies just appeal on so many different levels to so many different groups, and I think that's one of the cool things about this series.
Yeah, for sure. And I think to a certain extent, Tokyo Drift does that maybe for, Japanese people or people of Asian descent, right? Because it's the same thing. Like,
these were car movies that had a lot of Japanese cars in them, but you weren't like putting Japanese people into the mix, right?
You have Johnny Tran, but he's the villain, right? Like, you don't root for him, and then all of a sudden you have like possibly objectively the coolest character, not only in this franchise, but like in any movie. You have Han come in and you're like, oh, not only do I like I want to be him. And like, I feel like we've heard that before. We've read that before.
I'm really glad that, like, on this note, that they didn't try to give Han an Asian girlfriend. Like, him being with Giselle, is such a tiny tidbit.
She's a citizen of the world.
I know. But I'm saying the fact that they didn't like typecast him into like bringing Suki back and making that his girlfriend is like, thank God.
Yeah.
To give you a counterpoint to that, though, I want the relationship between Han and Suki, but I think just scenes with those two would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Just
for
the back and forth, the interplay between the two, like that would have been so much fun. Or Han and Jimmy. To me, like, that's a missed opportunity for the franchise. This franchise doesn't make a lot of missteps, but to me, like, that is one of them. And the fact that we never saw those two characters in particular ever again.
I wonder, I could see a scene where Suki and Han are together and like neither of them says a single thing. Like, it feels like they could be the kind of ones like observing the room and just being like,
yeah,
what a bunch of idiots. Just like, silently, he's snacking, she's like drawing or something, just like,
and you see them like both look up at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Tyrese says something real stupid, they both look up and then just look back down.
Yep.
Yeah. I can see it.
I love it. I do want to say, while we're on the note of Gal Gadot, that she showed up for like 2 minutes in Night and Day, that Tom Cruise movie we just covered on Cruise Club. And like an hour 20 into the movie, she's in the movie for like 2 minutes. I was like, what? And then she just goes away. I'm like, come on. Like, and like, that's a year.
Missed it.
Yeah, that's a year after Fast and Furious. So like, that's her first movie. So she's now like on the scene, and between basically the bridge between Fast and Furious and Fast 5, I guess, was her brief cameo. But like, she's Gal Gadot, right? So it's just, man, wow. I'm like, oh, okay. One other thing that I do want to point out, and then this is something that Justin said in our family watch party last night, was if you have not read Roger Ebert's review of this movie, do yourself a favor and read it. Because Nate,
should you read it?
No, I want you to take it on your own, because like, it's long. I picked moments last night, but Nate, he loves this movie. He loves this movie, and
he gave it 3 out of 4 stars. Yeah,
our listener Justin, who was in our family watch party last night, was saying that like he started watching this movie because Ebert loved it. Like, he respected Ebert. Like, he would always get to Chicago Sun-Times and read his reviews and whatever. And he saw that this guy, this respected, like the most famous film critic of all time, loved this movie. That like, from the outside, if you're not on board, you're like, this looks dumb, right? But he loved just how it embraced the stupidity of it.
Justin was telling us that like then he had to defend himself pretty much like for like the rest of his career, because he would rate any movie, and if he gave it like less than 3 stars, everybody'd be like, but Too Fast, Too Furious got 3 stars. Like, how is this possible?
Shout out to Roger Ebert for being a good ally. I see you.
Yeah. Yeah, he really loved it. He was like, what did he like even made like a hungry joke in his review.
Okay, I'll read it. Does it sound like I'm complaining? I'm not complaining. I'm grinning. Too Fast is a video game crossed with a buddy movie, a bad cop, good cop movie, a Miami drug lord movie, a chase movie, and a comedy. It doesn't have a brain in its head, but it's made with skill and style, and boy, is it Fast and Furious.
Yeah, man, he fucking loves this movie.
That's good for him. Like, yeah, like it's and that's the thing. Like, these movies aren't supposed to be Shakespeare. Like, these movies aren't supposed to be. Yeah, these aren't supposed to be Hitchcock movies, right? But like, they're fun, and I think the skill and yeah, that's the other thing. Like, John Singleton is great, but in terms of fast movies, Justin Lin's the gold standard. But I loved like John Singleton's kind of take on this universe where Yeah, we're going to Miami. This is going to be, it feels like somewhere in between a Fast and Furious movie and Bad Boys. Like in terms of the aesthetic, that's where it kind of
I can
falls
see
for
that.
me.
Yeah.
I think that's a good description. I like that a lot. Let us play a couple games. You ready for some games, Nate?
Let's play some games.
Cool.
Oh, I'm excited for Nate to play the games.
We're going to take a character quiz. Which character are you? I don't know if we have a name for this game, but we're going to take a quiz. Nate, we got 7 questions. I'm sure you know about this quiz.
Can we make like a J14 pun out of it?
the shout out Zimbio quiz, I guess, because we found a quiz online, Nate, that we liked, didn't love. We made a better version of it. So here we go.
Okay.
Question number 1, Nate. How fast are you? NASCAR, roller coaster, Lamborghini Murcielago, Toyota Prius, Vespa, or Razor scooter?
For all the listeners at home, this is callback time, so let's go with that Lambo.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, question number 2. You know it's coming. How furious are you? The Hulk, Kylo Ren, Christian Bale on that one set that one time, Mel Gibson, Charlie Brown, or Jack McBrayer?
We staying far away from Mel Gibson. Let's.
He seems like such a good guy.
Such a good guy. Let's go Christian Bale, because like he was angry, but at the same time he tried to be like, you're a good guy. He tried to be polite. Let's go Christian Bale.
Okay. We're having a barbecue, Nate. How are you helping? Are you manning the grill? Are you saying grace? Are you kicking back with a beer? Are you babysitting? Are you being the entertainment? Or are you sneaking a snack?
I mean, in real life, all of the above. For those that don't know, anybody that hadn't listened to the Kings of Sport, like my father is a retired Navy chaplain, so I'm a man of faith in some aspects. I do enjoy a good drink, but in regards to this specific question on the quiz,
I could see you doing all these. I don't know where you're gonna go.
See it.
I'm good with kids. I could watch Little Brian, but I'm gonna say, let's go entertainment. I'll be the entertainment here.
Okay.
After a couple beers, though.
Okay. Nate, we've got time to kill. What are you doing? Are you grabbing a bite? Are you working on your car? Are you hanging with friends? Are you drinking a beer? Are you working out? Or are you working on your computer?
Is this really just an intervention in disguise?
It might be.
Asking a lot about my drinking habits, Joey.
There's a lot of beer in the movies. It's a lot of Coronas in the movies.
To quote, I think it was the 5 Heartbeats. He's the guy in the 5 Heartbeats. They accused him of being an alcoholic. Just because I drank before the show, 1, maybe 2, 3 sometimes, that doesn't make me an alcoholic. Like, I'm going to hang out with friends.
Okay.
Before this big mission.
All right, Nate, describe. I don't know. Are you married in real life? I don't know. I don't know why I said in real life, because it's not like we're talking about you in the movie. Are you married?
On my podcast, I am married. In real life, I'm single.
Okay. So now describe your wedding that you're going to have one day, either, or maybe I'm never getting married. It's just me and my partner. It's us and our families. It's a backyard country affair. Everyone I know is there. I don't remember.
Let's go backyard country affair.
Okay.
People like that one. That's a good answer. I mean, that's a pretty
it's the perfect middle point. Like maybe again when I was younger, I'd want a big wedding, but now it's like just the people that matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just won the lottery. Congratulations. What are you buying? Your own garage, a private plane. You're going to gamble it all away. You'll buy your child at home, a fleet of cars, or a new life.
I mean, none of those are really fiscally responsible. I think the prudent thing to do would be to invest in a Roth IRA.
Yes,
it is tax season after all.
Get your portfolio up. Diversify your bonds.
True.
I'm gonna say, this is a tough one. I'm gonna say buy my childhood home. That sounds interesting.
Cool. Last question. This is going to decide it all.
Uh-oh.
What's your drink of choice? Belgian ale, Corona, something fruity, water, whatever's cheapest, or just whatever you're having.
At various points in my life, I've indulged in all of those.
Yeah.
Particularly in college, whatever's cheapest was the go-to. Shout out to Natty Ice and Schlitz malt liquor.
I got a 30 of Natty in my fridge right now. I love it. I got good beer, shit beer, wine, liquor, whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever the job calls for. But yeah, I'll be consistent and go with Coronas.
Okay.
I know exactly
any guesses on who he is?
Oh, yeah. Dom, 100%.
So he was, until the very last question, he was Roman.
Oh.
And then that
makes
Corona
so much
answer?
sense.
Wow. Okay. So I was Roman up until the very last question.
And I bet if you would have picked whatever's cheapest, you would have gotten Roman.
Yep.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now here, Nate, let's see if this sounds about you. Your stoic attitude is intimidating. Your cool demeanor under pressure is inspiring. And your expertise under the hood is envied. But all these pale in comparison to your loyalty to your family. You may claim to live your life a quarter mile at a time, but there is nothing you wouldn't do for the people in your life. And at the end of the day, nothing makes you happier than throwing something on the grill and sharing a few Coronas with your familia. And you drive like
the wind blows.
I'll take that. I will take that all day.
Powerful
And
stuff.
it does kind of make sense though, because again, like on the mic, I'm Roman. So maybe that was the broadcaster was sneaking into that last question, and then the true Nate revealed himself with that Corona.
Yeah, it did. I think it's a good one. That it makes sense. And all the answers, like you are very dumb of the answers. I agree. So I could see it coming with the childhood home, with everything just building up like that.
It's all about family.
All right, our next game is This Ain't No 10-Second Race,
Oh,
a.k.a.
God.
Boy, Do We Have a Podcast for You. So the way this game works, Nate, as you know, is we're going to go on twitter.com, or as Wells calls it, the Bird app, and you're going to find any tweet that you think someone might be interested in this show. So we're going to say, boy, do we have a podcast for you. I'm going to link to the show page, hashtag 2F2F, hashtag family, all that fun stuff. There's a scoring system. The more they interact, the more points you get. So let's review as you look for answers. Let's review last time, because remember, Joe, last time on air, I think Nicole got some points while we were waiting, right? So
We were, yeah. Let's review.
We got some things. Okay, so first off, I found 6, Murpha 6, responding to you're in a bank robbery, need a getaway driver, pick your driver. He says, Vin Diesel if you want the money to survive, Paul Walker if you're Mia Toretto, Jason Statham if you want to knack your client, Baby if you're watching film. Boy, do we have a podcast for you?
For you.
Absolutely not, because I'm not good at this game.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Joe, you then found Young Loom Evan on Twitter and said, I remember when Fast and Furious was about Hector running Civics with spoon engines. Boy, do we.
We have a podcast for you.
Nothing.
Damn.
So now here's something that's interesting.
Go ahead.
I actually wonder here. That's fascinating. Okay, so
What happened?
Nicole found Of Hella, and she found a great tweet, and Of Hella liked it and retweeted it, and Of Hella's Twitter account no longer exists.
Wow.
Are they blocked or is it suspended?
I'm looking on my own profile now, and it's not there. So, like, I don't know if she changed. Just says, sorry, that page does not exist. I don't know if she changed her name. I don't know what happened. But now we've never had this before, that we've gotten points and then the points went away.
We keep the points. You keep
So
the
she
points.
gets 6 points. Okay.
Yeah, she gets the 6 points. We saw them that night as we were doing it. Nate, we have a long history that I would respond to a lot of accounts and then they would get suspended immediately. I have no idea how I found this. Like, there was like 3 or 4 in a row that like I would get it and Joey would be like, their account suspended. And just like immediately afterwards. And I don't know what they were doing, or like they weren't like ridiculous tweets, so it was just a weird time.
And then Mari found not Zach at Pro Cornholer on Twitter. Said, pick your favorite movie and replace one word with come. Actually, she did Robert at Robert2370. The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Come. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. And so here's the thing. So listener Jason, who joined us on Sunday night, he liked and retweeted. Those do not count. But
no, they don't count. He knows. It's like when Wes likes everyone,
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Robert retweeted it, Robert liked it, and someone else liked it too, and then Mari liked it too. So Mari gets 7 points.
Yeah, she definitely does. Damn.
That is
They killed the game. They came in hot.
We were all impressed by Nicole, and like I don't think Nicole's listening, but Nicole, if you are listening, we were talking about how great you are at this game. Mari's better, so I mean, you two might have to both come back.
Yeah, I think so.
That's all I'm saying. All right, have you guys found tweets that you want to?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I have one. I have one to start. Okay, at Daniel GA7Z Marcelo Agachate y Consuelo. His tweet is, me ranking the police, the Fast and Furious. The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, Too Fast and Too Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 4, Fast and Furious 6, Fast and Furious 7, Fast and Furious 8. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. He's in Madrid. So hopefully we have a nice Spanish listener that would enjoy this.
I mean, we are not available in other languages. I think that's why we're so big in Australia, because they speak.
He says
there.
in his bio, it says ESP/ENG, DM's open.
Okay.
Yeah, so he speaks English. Capitalist.
Boy,
Yeah.
so I gotta like. Oh, not as me though. Hold on. Let me fix this.
Change back.
Why is this random person liking things? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I don't think we ever found somebody that just like straight up had their rankings, right? So
Boy, do we have a podcast
for you.
All right, Nate, have you found one that you want to send through to me?
Yes, I'm feeling really good about this one. Let me just send it to you. I think I'm in the money on this one. I'm at least gonna get on the podium with this one. I feel very confident, and this is what in the podcast business they call vamping, because my internet isn't the fastest. It is making me furious though.
Okay.
You got me, man. Oh, that was good. I like.
Okay, here here's one that I'm going to read. This is from while we wait for Nate's internet to catch up. This is from Terry Chan at Terry Chan. Oh, this is from 2013. Still gonna go with it.
Good luck.
See if Terry Chan. Are you still active on Twitter? I might pivot. Oh, he's few and far between, but he's still on there. All right.
Okay.
He says, at Ludacris, loving every F and F and all the music. You were there since the beginning. Should get back Suki and MC Jin for number 7 on your team. Boy, do we have a podcast for you that has covered 3 movies that you have not seen yet. So, and Nate, your email just came through. If you want to read your tweet, who sent it, and your tweet, and we'll go from there.
Oscar H, and his Twitter handle is 510 Oscar 510 _.
Cool.
And I feel really good about this because this is within the last 24 hours.
Okay.
And he's got the clip of the end of Fast 5. And he says, Ludacris unlocking the safe at the end of Fast 5 as Danza Kuduro begins playing simultaneously is one of the best moments in the history of cinema.
Boy, do we
have a podcast for you. Yeah, I think that's like target audience. He would get it for sure. Yeah. But Nate, not to pee in your Wheaties a little bit, we have hit some really good ones, and people definitely don't like to respond to us at all. Yeah. So don't be offended. We've had some really great ones. They just fall by the wayside. Yeah. So
we've got one more game to play. I'm gonna pull rank here, and because I am a host.
Oh.
So yesterday, as we're recording this,
yes,
Joe and I went to see the live, as we talked about in the opening, we saw the live podcast of High School Slumber Party and Foodie Films. Went after lunch. As I'm walking back to my car after lunch, I see this car in the parking lot, and I'm like, oh, damn, this is a cool looking car. And I took a bunch of pictures, and I messaged Joe as I'm walking back to my car. I'm like, just saw a car, gonna make you guess tomorrow. He's like, cool.
Okay.
So now, Nate, dude, what's my car? Do you want to help me give clues, or do you want to help Joe try to guess this car?
I'll help you give clues because I'm not the best car guesser.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's why I'm on this side of the law, if you know what I mean. So let me forward you email. There's a bunch of pictures in there. So this is a highly, highly, highly tricked out car, Joe, but I think mostly just want to show you what I saw, if that makes sense.
Fair. Yeah, no, this is a great way to do it. I'm down.
It's blue and gold.
Blue and gold. Okay.
Yep. It's mostly blue. It's got it's got blue doors. It's got like gold.
How dark
accents.
of a blue? Is it a dark blue?
It's like a navy blue. It's like a Yankee pinstripe blue.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's got gold rims. It's got a custom plate. Beast.
Yeah, you told me this last night. Beast what?
BX.
Beast of Brooklyn. Beast of the Bronx.
Beast of the Bronx. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
it has a spoiler in the back. On the spoiler is a Hot Wheels decal.
Okay. Nice.
In the back, there are dual exhausts. There is between the exhausts down below, there is a third, I guess, like the brake light. It's triangular in shape.
Okay.
Let's see here. What else do we want to do? So on the side.
Brake light in the bottom.
Yeah. There might be a small one above. No, I don't think there is. I think it's in the bottom. So there's like the traditional brake lights on the sides, and there's a third one in the bottom.
Interesting.
You sure this isn't a set photo from the new Batman with Robert Pattinson?
Oh, I mean, this is a good-looking car, right? So, I mean, boy. On the side, it's a 2-door car, because of course it is. There are also, like, instead of, like, I don't know how to describe it, but there's, which I guess is the whole point of the game, but you know how there's, like, in a traditional car, there's, like, the passenger window, and then maybe the rear passenger window, then there's, like, the little mini window that's sort of partially there?
Yes, yeah. So
instead of that, there's, like, grills or vents or fans.
Okay, yeah. Just like gills.
There's also on the side here, there's it looks like it's just like a list of decals, but I think this is like etched in because it's the same gold as the car. It's got a list of sponsors, I guess. Toyo Tires, Volk Racing, Street Glow, Falcon, Potenza, Bridgestone, Apex Eye, Brembo, and Momo.
Okay. Yeah, so you got all the good stuff in it.
The hood is transparent.
Ooh, what?
You can see the engine.
Yeah.
It's got a carbon HEV Tech engine.
Oh, carbon HEV Tech? Is it HV Tech? Is it VTEC?
KevTech?
KevTech.
KevTech engine. Is that like a real thing?
I don't know. That's what it says. It doesn't say it on the engine. It says it on the actual hood. I don't know what that's.
Kevin
referring
Hart's
to.
gotten into automotives now.
Or maybe the Bronx Beast's real name is Kevin, and it's KevTech
Maybe.
engine.
So here's also a thing that, like, in the front, in the very, very front of the car. And I know that I'm not describing anything that would help you even remotely guess this car.
I know. But I want to hear you describe it. It's fun.
There are two like little like clasps, sort of, that have like looks like
hood clips.
I guess so, because it looks like the hood opens toward the front instead of going like toward the car. It comes toward the front. Nate, I don't know how else to describe that. Like, can you see any other reason why those would be there?
Unless they're just strictly decorative, I can't. Like if they're functional, yeah, the hood comes back towards where you're standing rather than going back towards the vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that.
On the front, so here's a hint, but it's not a hint at all. There's a sticker on the window that says TRD Sport Toyota Racing Development. It's not a Toyota.
Oh. It's not a Toyota?
No.
They have a Toyota racing sticker on a car that's not a Toyota.
Yeah, steering wheel is gold.
In that case, if they have a Toyota racing sticker on a car that's not a Toyota, is it a Lexus?
No.
It's not a Lexus either.
Mm-mm.
Is it a Scion?
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking if they had a Toyota racing sticker on this car, and apparently they care about the car, it has to be a car made by Toyota.
So Toyota makes Scion.
Yes. Is it a TC?
No. I got to make sure that this is actually, because there's something on the back, but I don't know that this is.
Is it square? Is it boxy?
No, it is very.
Oh, what was the other one? There was like an XA, an XB. There was a TC. TC was like the car, though. And I don't think they made anything beyond those three. What was the other?
I'm going to describe this from carandriver.com.
Okay.
5 out of 5 rating.
Okay.
Offering sports car agility on a budget, this car features excellent driving dynamics for a manageable price. Only one engine is offered, a 200 horsepower 2.0 liter flat 4 with a 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic. The manual shift with solid, no-nonsense feel, while the paddle shift automatic is quick and responsive. Cabin is cramped and plasticky, but this car is very agile, which endears it to enthusiasts. Scion's demise moves this car to the Toyota showroom for 2017 under the name 86.
Oh. So what is it if it's not a TC?
It is. I'm sending it over to you now via email. It is a Scion FRS.
What? Oh, so the FRS is a Scion car now?
Or it was.
Toyota made the FRS, which is the same as the Subaru BRZ.
So they just folded it under the Scion brand then?
Yeah, maybe this could be just a
moved
Toyota FRS that they like put a Scion logo on, right? Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. That's weird.
But like, I literally walked into the
did they
parking deck
make?
and I saw this car and I was like, what is this?
Did they move FRS to Scion brand? Yeah, they did. Oh, cool. Yeah, it used to be a Toyota FRS, and actually Matt had one of these. Actual car is made by Subaru.
Is Toyo Tires? Is that what did they start as a Toyota brand? Is that where the Toyo comes from?
That's completely different. It's just its own thing. Carbon KevTech. Oh, so the hood is KevTech. Okay, yeah, this is really cool, and it does have the hood clips on the front. I don't think it opens towards you like you imagine. They just like put these clips on it so he can like pop it off real quick if he's like trying to fix it when he's racing. Oh, this is really cool. Yeah, I guess they did. They moved that thing to Scion. Very fucking cool. Yeah, so it's a really deep blue. It has this gold wrap on some of the other like the quarter panels and stuff like that, and across the front he has these gold rims on it that are actually pretty decent. It looks nice. He did a decent job.
Like, it's totally a superhero car. Like, when the NYPD can't handle things, call the Beast of the Bronx.
He does look like he could be in a Fast and the Furious movie, right?
By day, a mild-mannered hot dog vendor.
Oh yeah, and he has this. I like his Puerto Rican American flag license plate in the front too.
Yes.
Like this could be Deez's and or Mero's car. I don't know. They're from the Bronx. They rep the Bronx. Who knows?
True. And look. Oh, and if you look in the front, remember when I asked you last night if there was a stuffed animal hanging from it, like a Beanie Baby? Yep. Look right above his steering
on the dash,
wheel.
Right? Yep.
He has one. What a guess.
Love it.
This is a really cool car. Awesome choice.
Just like in the wild. I was like, cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
How far away were you parked from it?
I was like 2 floors up.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That was a good one. Lots of fun. The light in the back definitely made me think that, and then the Toyota racing team car made me think that. I didn't know that they moved the FRS to the Scion brand. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, Nate, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming. You know, you were already part of our family from 2 times over, really, because of the Christmas episode and us being on your show, but like you've officially joined the family here. So
Yeah.
thank you for being a part of Too Fast, Too Forever.
I mean, I appreciate the hospitality, gentlemen. I've
Always,
loved that
brother.
we were finally able to make it happen on your end of the street officially. I'm glad that Joey has, given me some food for thought in regards to my alcohol consumption. So I'm going to be having a heart-to-heart talk with myself, maybe like Roman on that bridge. It's like, you know what? It's not Joey's fault that you're drinking. It's your fault, man. Uh, but yeah, like I had a lot of fun, man. Been a long time fan of what you guys do with this show. I think it's a really cool concept, and we'll have to do it again down the road.
Please,
Absolutely.
you're
So now,
always welcome back, brother.
we've talked about you a bunch on the show, but please let our listeners know where they can find you, where they can find your shows, because I know you got a couple of them, and anything else you want to plug. Go forth and plug what you do, who you are.
Thank you, brother. I have a multitude of shows for the listeners out there. The Kings of Sport, which is kind of my flagship program, the mothership program, with myself and Marcus Vanderberg from Yahoo Sports. It's a show that is going on year 6. Actually, by the time this comes out, we'll probably be halfway to year 7. So
Wow.
we've been doing it for a while, and the impetus for that show was kind of, he's a longtime sports journalist. I've been a longtime sports fan and broadcaster, and we just got tired of listening to a lot of stuff that was on the radio that just felt formulaic and, for lack of a better term, felt monochromatic in terms of who was actually delivering the stories.
True.
So we're like, let's talk about sports from the perspective of two relatively youngish black dudes who aren't athletes on ESPN. So, and give our perspective. So we started that 6.5 years ago, and it's still going strong. You can find that at thekingsosport.com and all your podcast catchers. We've got a Patreon that Joey mentioned, and you can find that at patreon.com/thekingsosport. Right now, I think at last count, it's like almost 75 hours of bonus content.
That's awesome.
And it's not just sports stuff. Like it's we've done some MCU reviews. We've got a political talk show called the 20 Twin, which kind of started as a way to kind of profile each of the Democratic candidates as this nomination process goes on. But halfway, myself and the real host of this show, a political science professor out in California, like we just got tired, and we're like, we're not really going to do a whole show on Tulsi Gabbard. Like, that's not
Dropped
happening.
yet. You've still got time. She's not going anywhere.
So we took a break, and then we came back this past week for a big Super Tuesday show, and we're gonna kind of cover Bernie and Biden and the general election and stuff like that going forward. You can find that on the Patreon.
I just gotta say right there, I've never heard of a podcast that started as one thing and then just started talking about other things. Like I can't we exclusively talk about the Fast and the Furious, and I think that it's disrespectful to your audience that you don't stick to the one thing. Like I can't imagine.
Rarely, like that Harrison Ford 42 story today. Definitely right on track.
I don't know how it happened. So, if the listeners want to chastise us for doing that, they can sign up at the Kings of Sport Patreon. $5 gets you in the door, and you can do that. And also, it helps us out because not only does it give us more income to get better equipment and to do different things. But WrestleMania, for all the wrestling fans listening, is out in LA next year. So right now we've got tentative plans for me to head out there. And so the more kind of support we can get from the Patreon, the more cool stuff we can do when we're out in LA, which is not the most inexpensive city to operate in. So, so that's Kings of Sport. I've got the Rocky Maivia Picture Show, which both Joey and Joe too have been on. It's a film podcast chronicling the filmography of America's greatest thespian, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Joey and Joe too were on for the Fast 5 episode, which was which was last month in February. And then this month, it's either going to be Journey to the Mysterious Island, or it's going to be a double feature with the other guys and Pain and Gain. It depends on which guest gets back to me first.
Oh, okay.
That comes out every third Saturday over at postwrestling.com. So I've got that. I've got the main event.
If my math is right, if we were doing the math right before we started, that should be this upcoming Saturday, I think.
Yep, should be this Saturday. So if all goes right, you'll either be hearing us talk about The Rock filling in for Brendan Fraser, or we'll be talking about The Rock and the other guys with his cameo with Samuel L. Jackson, and then Pain and Gain, which is I think an underrated.
I love Pain and Gain. I think it's a great movie.
So we got that coming out at Post Wrestling. The main event for wrestling fans, that's over at Place to Be Nation. And then the other show that I do, I do way too many shows, but the
Welcome
other
to
show
the club.
Boy, have I got a podcast for you
Mm-hmm.
two. The other show that I do on a regular basis, the Black Lightning podcast, which is over at the DCTV Podcast Network, and we cover the Black Lightning show on CW. And by the time you're hearing this, our episode about the season finale should be out. So it's
very
been
cool.
a big series. You know, they had the big crossover this year with the CW show. So yeah, Black Lightning is a show that I really enjoy, and I get to talk about it with three other interesting people. So that's over at DCTV Podcast Network. And finally, if you just want to talk to me or reach out to me on Twitter, I may or may not respond, and you may get your account blocked or suspended, like when you try to talk to Joe too. You can follow me on Twitter at N8 MOZAIK at Nate Mosaic, and that's everything. That's all I got. The chamber's empty, Joey.
He said this for the street. Black Lightning's back. But Nate, thank you so much for joining us on this supersized episode of Too Fast, Too Furious. Now, Joe, we got a brand new movie coming out next week. We are going to, I think we might have teased this last week. We've got Bloodshot. We got the new Vin Diesel movie, Bloodshot. We are going to the theater. You know, it came out this past weekend as you're listening to this. So you have this whole week and you have next weekend to see this movie. Go check it out. Go support DC. I mean, maybe if things go well, we can have a Black Adam Bloodshot Imagine if like Vin and The Rock won't act together in the Fastiverse, but then there's a DC crossover where they're like forced to act together. Like that would be something special.
Bloodshot's a DC property?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I've seen the commercials. I didn't know. Like I didn't know if I was going to go see it, but now you've got my interest. So if it's a DC property and they have Pump It Up by Joe Budden in the soundtrack, I'm there. I'm first day.
And what I will say is the female lead is Isa Gonzalez, who plays Madam M in Hobbs and Shaw. So we got a little bit of a fast connection there, even though they weren't in the same movie yet. So there's fast connections all over the place. So go see Bloodshot for next week. Nate, thank you again for joining us. Go check out all of Nate's things. Go support his Patreon. Go follow him on Twitter. But for all things Too Fast, Too Forever, you go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFastTooForever.
Real quick, Joey, I apologize to all the Eva Mendes stands out there because I totally
we haven't said her name once this entire episode.
She was great in this movie, so much love to Eva Mendes. I know you was checking her out.
Mrs. Ryan Gosling.
I know you was checking her out.
Yeah.
He learned that from me. He got that from me. Facebook.com/TooFastTooForever or at TooFastTooForever on Twitter and Instagram. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Come back next week. Go to the theater. Go see Bloodshot. Support Vin Diesel. Come back next week. We're talking about Bloodshot. Very exciting. And then 2 weeks ahead, I'm just going to say we're keeping to last lap schedule. We're putting Tokyo Drift later in the lap. We're saving that.
Yeah, true.
We're going Fast and Furious, the reboot, in 2 weeks, but go see Bloodshot. Patreon.com/TooFastTooForever. Go support us there, then go swing over and go hit up the Kings of Sport too. So 2 for 1.
True.
Help us both out. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too.
And that was Nate Milton of Way Too Many Podcast. His words, not mine. And we'll see you next time right here on Too Fast, Too Forever. Peace out, you anus